Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Trasher Football. Today is the live stream for the 2024 College Football 25 Dynasty Deep Dive. This is a big stream. We might even hit 4,000 subscribers today. This is going to be a crazy day, guys. The deep dive is in about 25 minutes or so. So make sure to be holding on to that. We got a couple of people that's been waiting in the chat for this live stream to start. Decided to start it about 10 minutes early. So make sure that you guys who are still here in the chat waiting for this live stream to start, make sure to hit the like button. It's greatly appreciated. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Still waiting for it to start up though. So there was 35 people in here waiting. That's crazy. Hope you guys are having a great day, though. What's up, Decker, the GOAT Productions? We got 13th Tribe, Longhorn, Glazer, V-Dub, Volhead, Enosh, Sarah, Buck Guy. Shout out to Buck Guy. Sarah, Kaysen, Phelan, Ferguson, Tyler, T-Mac B, Corey, Justin, Devin, Zach, Jordan, Anomalous Memer, Deontay. It's going to be a good morning. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Sorry that I sound like so stutterful, I guess is the word. I'm like half asleep. I got maybe 6.5 hours of sleep last night, but I'm still hyped. I still got up for this stream. But we are less than 2 weeks away for the early release for this game. Let me see. I think it's 13 days now, right? Yeah, 13 days now. So this is an important stream, y'all. Let me go back to the chat, though. We got Cooper, DeMarcus, Sean, Young Ninja, Young JK, Grayson. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. King Josh, the Sauce God. That's such a great name. Rock and Roll Tide. I still love that name. That's out of most of the community names on here on YouTube. Rock and Roll Tide might have to be a top fiver. That's a great play on words right there. What's up, AM2K? Carmen, Denzel, Chancellor, Ethan, Colton, Tyler, Tower, Dakota, Doge Cheese, Shuffler, Deontay. We got 77 people in the chat watching. Nathan says, "Hey, Trasher, what do you expect from the deep dive?" I expect to see a lot of recruiting stuff, to be honest. So we will have to see. Definitely expect a lot of recruiting information for Dynasty mode, because I mean that's what the whole selling point on this game is that it's all for Dynasty. It's always been Dynasty. It's always going to be Dynasty. It's been the most played mode. It's always going to be the most played mode. So of course, it's obviously going to be the most stocked full deep dive for this game. This is what the majority of fans of this video game have been wanting to see. Trasher, did you watch a Miami game? You sound sleepy. No, but if I wanted to be sleepy, I would have watched an Iowa game. God, those games were boring. They put me to sleep, honestly. But yeah, we're 13 days away from the game on the channel. I'm sorry I keep yawning. Like I told you, I just woke up like, goodness gracious, 40 minutes ago, and I'm still yawning. Are you saying you don't like punts, Trasher? I like good defense. I like good special teams. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be bored of it, though. Is Fridge going? Yes, Fridge is going to be here very soon. He said he was going to come on. He messaged me when he woke up. He said he would come on. So I don't know when he's going to come on, but it'll be within the next 20 minutes or so. I just got to make sure, to message him. Hey, just got to remind him. I would make some coffee, but I love coffee, but like it makes me like too awake. Like I plan on going back to sleep after this. I bet Trasher hated the Rams Patriots Super Bowl. Oh, you know I did. You want to know why? Because my favorite Super Bowl was the Eagles and Patriots game where Brady threw for like 500 yards and still lost. It's my favorite Super Bowl of all time because of so many yards and points and touchdowns and stuff. Trasher better talk during it. Screw the haters. If they don't want talking, they can go watch it on their own. For real, bro. We beefed with so many people from last stream, bro. If you want to watch the Dynasty deep dive on your own, watch it on your own, and then come back for my reaction. It's not that hard. I don't want to sound mean, but that's not my issue. If you don't hear it, if you want to hear it, watch it on your own. You're here for me and the rest of the Trasher football community and supporters' reaction. Okay. So don't be mad at me. Trasher, guess the amount of obese football players in America, not body shaming? What type of question is that? What's up, Queso? Deontay Grimmisbeck says, what I do is just watch on my own, then go back and watch yours. Exactly. That's what I encourage all of you to do. Is to go watch it on your own and then come back and watch my reaction. What's up, ETA? I hang out here pre-show, each the videos live, then come back here. I watch the videos live. Not gonna lie, even though I can't wait for this game to come out, I'm gonna what? What's up, Beans? Probably gonna hop off for the deep dive, but I'm coming back. That's good. Like I said, I encourage you guys to do that. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys hear the mouse. So if you guys weren't here for one of the streams the other day, my microphone broke off the microphone stand. And so I have to keep my microphone like sitting on my desk just pointed up at me just for you guys to hear me since it broke off of my microphone stand. So, but I still have the mic working. But ladies and gentlemen, the co-host of Trasher Football, the one, the only, TY Fridge.
What's up, guys?
They've been asking for you.
Have they?
They
Love
have.
it. What's up, y'all?
I mean,
Freaking excited.
Specifically, somebody in the Discord asked me yesterday, "Is Fridge coming?" And then everybody was like, "Fridge." You know that one scene from Finding Nemo where they're mine. They're like the birds, but like with you.
What's up, y'all? I appreciate the love. It's awesome.
But drop some W's in the chat for Fridge. Microwave. That's crazy. Prince Refrigerator is here.
I love it. That's awesome.
Shout out to North Alabama Storm Chase because like I live in Alabama and that's an awesome job if that's what that channel's about because storms are cool. And shout out to all of you people who know who James Spann is too. And Fridge left. What happened? Fridge, no, we lost him already. Oh dear. That's not getting good. It's fine. He'll be back. I'm really excited for this, man. We're still about 17 minutes away from the deep dive. Convection oven. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Here, let me get my phone and message him because I don't know what happened. All right, I messaged him. Where did you go? I hope he's okay. I mean, he was just here. Wonder what Ryan Moody will say after this one. Oh my gosh. I can only hope it's nothing. I can only hope it's nothing. When James Spann takes his jacket off, it's getting serious. Exactly, Rock and Roll Tide. If you can see James Spann's suspenders, get in your basement. I love having just like funny inside jokes with people from the South, especially just from Alabama in general. Have you missed anything? No, not yet. The deep dive is in about 16 minutes. Storm Chaser for North Alabama and Southern Tennessee. That's awesome, dude. So is that like the Huntsville area of North Alabama? I used to live all the way up there. What happened, Fridge?
I don't know. I pressed a button and then it made me leave. So
The whole chat literally freaked out for like a solid 2 minutes.
oh, my bad.
But
Dochi's called me the microwave.
everybody keeps telling me 10 minutes. I know it's 10 minutes, but it's also a 3 to 5 minute countdown for the actual thing. So it's really like 13 to 15 minutes.
Facts.
If you haven't watched any other deep dive live before, then they do the countdown with like the marching music in the background. Yeah, Span takes off his shirt, we're gonna die. Span is OG. Everyone in Alabama better pay attention when his jacket's off and you see the overalls. For real, man. I've met James Span several times in my life. Great dude, smart dude. What, just like the coolest meteorologist you'll ever meet. That was like one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do was meet him. And not only have I gotten to meet him once, it was like 3 or 4 times. Prince Refrigerator, Microwave, Slow Cooker, Crock Pot the Third.
Yo.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Chester, if Miami goes to the college football playoff, what will you do? Eat my own words, because I do not think Miami is going to the playoffs. You can tell that to Swag Kane, too, who is in the Discord server.
Frig, Miami and Swag Kane.
Oh, I haven't even sent out notifications yet that I'm live.
I think D sent one out for you.
He might have. Yep, he did in the announcements.
Might be a good idea to do it again, though, just if you did it.
I'll put it in the general, but I'm not pinging everyone. Just make sure everybody knows that we're live. Hey, Trasher, morning, y'all all. Hope I'm not late to the party. No, we still got about 10, 13 minutes left. Eric Rayweather is in the college football chat stream. Yeah, I like Eric Rayweather. He's a cool dude. We've been featured on his channel before for the first Matt Brown interview. Good morning from Italy. That's awesome. We got someone from Italy in the chat. You think it will be hard to beat top tier schools on easier difficulty, or do you think it's going to be a thing on Heisman? I don't know. We'll definitely have to see. Man, you know, I guess it'll probably just be easy if you're playing on freshmen, as it normally has been. But if you play on Heisman and you're like Kent State playing Alabama, get ready to probably have 100 dropped on you. Upstate South Carolina. There's a good bit of people that are South Carolina fans, or at least from the state of South Carolina. I think, speaking of the devil, Zach, shout out to Zach, who's also a South Carolina fan.
North Alabama storm cheese. Fridge, I almost named my kids La Washa and La Dryer. Bro. Okay.
That's funny. Man, I'm really excited for this. We might hit 1,000 subs today, or 4,000. We've hit 1,000. What am I saying? We are currently at 3,950. We are exactly 50 subs away from hitting 4,000 subscribers. So if you want to contribute to that, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the notifications bell on too, because I promise you won't regret it. You'll know when we don't cheese. Shut up. I did not mean that. We already hit 1K. We're about to hit 4K. We're very, very close. We're not there yet, but we're definitely on the rise. Now we're 48 away. This is going to be an important stream in channel history. Will it be the biggest? I don't know. Let me go ahead and get the appropriate links up, because I need the
Is there an inappropriate link?
Huh?
Never mind.
Shut up, Fridge.
You said an appropriate link. I want to know what the inappropriate link is.
If there's an inappropriate college football 25 link, I don't know if I want to see it. Trasher football biting the curb 4K.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's a little brutal.
Trasher, turn the face cam on. Nah, I'm too ugly for YouTube. There's a reason why I don't use the face cam anymore.
Bro is not ugly.
Whoever's the 4,000th sub gets a kiss from Jake's mom. That's funny.
Whoever's the 4,000 sub gets a kiss from me, all right?
Yeah, it's about to start in the countdown part of the stream's about to start in 4 minutes. Man, this is really exciting. When can I see a Road to Glory and Team Builder deep dive trailer soon? I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna do one. I haven't asked because I haven't. It's been a minute since I've had information that I haven't told anyone. I'll tell you that. Man, like I'm nervous. Like, you know when you got butterflies in your stomach? Oh, snap. Ollie Gordon II arrested on suspicion of DUI from Oklahoma State. That's not good. Y'all, don't drink and drive. And if you're going to drink,
don't
be
do
responsible.
That. Be responsible.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start the live stream on this other monitor. I'm going to have to do a little prayer real quick. Lord, please don't let my internet go out while sharing my screen. It's gone out like 12 times in the last 2 days. Please don't let it go out during the stream. Amen.
Amen. And at least I'll be here so the stream won't go down.
Yeah, so if the stream goes out, or if I leave and Fridge has to take over, don't fret. I'll be back in like 2-3 minutes.
Do not fret. Fridge is here.
Man, this is going to be an important live stream in channel history. Yeah, I've heard some rumors that Team Builder might be talked about today in the Dynasty deep dive. I don't know. We'll have to see. Fridge, can you read us a bedtime story?
Dude, if we hit 4,000 subscribers, I will.
I remember when I was over at Gavin's one time, he said he was going to read me Moby Dick to sleep because one of the lines has like my name in it.
Oh.
Or my last name.
Hey, fun fact. I read the entire script of the B-movie to Asher before he went to
He
bed.
did not read the entire script. He read 3 lines and I fell asleep.
No, I read the whole thing. You just were asleep for it.
Okay. How was working with Bordeaux? Bordeaux's an awesome dude, man. I worked as like kind of an editor situation for him for a couple of months last year up until early this year. And we remained cordial since, gotten to know each other a little bit more since then. So I've known Bordeaux for, 8 months now, 9 months. Great guy. Couldn't say enough good things about him. Having him on the channel for you guys was obviously, checked off the bucket list. I love Bordeaux. Everyone sub, I need the bedtime story. Yeah, we're 45 subs away from it. 4,000th sub gets Hawk Tua from Fridge.
Okay, that's a little much, guys. Still.
That's crazy. Sir Bartholomew Refrigerator Microwave Slow Cooker John James Crockpot Mac and Cheese Slow Knees McAfee III.
That is insane.
Hey, he did a good job rhyming.
That is true.
Scottish Gator fan? There's Gator fans in Scotland? Hi Trasher, is the game available in the UK? I don't know, but I hope so.
I'd assume so.
Yeah. But shout out to all the Gator fans, and shout out to Scottish Gator fan for being a Gator fan in Scotland. That's awesome. I'm a resub for that. Fridge, are you gonna box Ryan Moody at 4K?
Bro, you'll catch his hands, I swear to God. Not even box or bare knuckle fighting. I don't even care.
He'll catch them hands. Can't wait for Ryan Moody to yap about this for no reason whatsoever. It's so crazy how the majority of the college football 25 community all agrees that there's just an issue with that dude. Like, I know, like, so many other content creators that a lot of you guys watch too that all do not like Ryan Moody. I promise you guys.
He has to be rage baiting, right? There's no way he's that, like,
I don't
delusional.
know. He very well could be rage baiting.
I mean, he probably gets good views for it, so whatever.
Yeah. We're currently 42 subs away from 4,000. There we go.
Oh, shit, y'all. We got 2 minutes.
All right, I'm
See, Asher, it's at 8:55 for a reason.
Yeah.
You said 3 to 5 minutes. Who's 2?
Well, they're shortening it. The first one was 5 minutes. The next one was 3. And I think the other one was 3. And now this one's 2.
Everyone hop in the stream, man. It's about to start.
Yeah, so if you guys, okay, warning, if you guys don't want to hear me talk over the deep dive, go watch it on your own, okay? This is a warning. It'll be your fault from here on forward if I interrupt the stream. That is not my fault. I'm tired of apologizing. If you think I sound arrogant, that's not my issue, okay? If you want to hear the deep dive, go watch it on your own. You're here for Fridge and I's reaction. Come back after you've watched it. I promise we'll still be talking about it an hour and a half from now, okay?
Hey, but if you're going to go watch the premiere or whatever, just have this in the background and mute it.
Well,
stay in the chat.
I've noticed, like, when we do these streams, the viewer numbers start off decent. Like, right, we're at 274 right now, and then it'll dip really far, and then it'll shoot back up even further. Like, the last one, we peaked at, like, 800 people, but it didn't happen until after we were talking about it, and we were reviewing it and reading the Campus Huddle blog.
Yeah. Ooh, my shooter's in chat. Sub Zoller, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but
this guy?
Yeah, it's my shooter right there. Seahawks shooter.
Yeah, just pause if you want to yap for a while. We might. I just don't want to put a delay up for people who went to watch it for themselves and then just accidentally spoil us. But here we go, chat. 3 seconds.
Oh, shit.
Hey everyone, Kirk Herbstreit here with
Haters.
EA Sports College Football 25, back for another deep dive. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite mode, Dynasty.
Ooh.
Online Dynasty in College Football 25 can accommodate up to 32 teams, and you can play with friends for up to 30 seasons. Today we'll take a closer look at the new 12-team college football playoff.
That looks good.
And a ton of customization options to make your program unique. College football has seen seismic changes over the past few years. And in EA Sports College Football 25, you can experience this new landscape while building your program the way you want. The 2024 season marks the debut of the new 12-team college football playoff, and you can play it first in the
I will say I love the way that the bracket looks in the game.
Months before the real thing. You could be the first coach to lead
Oh, snap. We got a different score bug for the playoffs.
your school through the new 12-team playoff and hoist the college football playoff trophy.
Looks beautiful.
Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football. And in a world of unlimited transfers, managing your dynasty roster has never been more important. Evaluate your needs and opportunities for talent upgrades at the start of each season. The best way to build a powerhouse is to recruit through the high school ranks. So let's fill up your recruiting board. Each year, over 3,500 high school recruits are generated from all over the country, with certain regions representing real-world hotspots for blue-chip talent, like South Florida and Metro Atlanta. Do research to find recruits that best fit your program and determine who you can realistically land. A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14 different pitch grades like proximity to home, playing time, and brand exposure. So you'll need to discover how your program's pitch grades align with your recruit's desires, in addition to scouting for talent.
Yeah, this looks great.
Some players have a deal breaker requirement, and if your program cannot provide, the recruit will lock you out. Deal breakers also drive a player's decision to enter the transfer portal. Monitor at-risk players and get one last chance to convince your favorites to stay. Track your recruits as they narrow down their top schools. Pitch a prospect to gain more interest, and then set up school visits when the timing is right. It's crucial to remain in their top 10, then 8, then 5 to finally be part of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal.
I like that.
If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor. Plan visits that elevate a recruit's experience, like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time. It's crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal when it opens in the offseason to round out your roster with talent you couldn't land from recruiting. Add portal prospects to your board just like you would with recruiting, but expect quick decisions as transfers have a shorter timeline to land a new home.
Love that.
Conference realignment is a hot topic
Here we
in
go.
college football. And with custom conferences in EA Sports College Football 25, Dynasty is yours to control. See what a 20-team super conference might look like, or revert to the traditional conference alignment. Shape the conference size and membership and set custom conference rules, set up divisions, and more. Once you've settled your conference options, it's time to select your team. Begin with a highly ranked team and dominate at the top with repeat recruiting and playoff success. Or build from the ground up with a smaller program and prove you have what it takes to go from an unknown to postseason favorite. We can't talk about your dynasty without talking about your starting job.
Oh, yeah.
Start as an offensive or defensive coordinator and climb the ranks to head coach, or take over a program as the head coach right away. Choose from one of the 3 base coaching types to start. Your coach type will determine what coaching skill tree you start with. From there, the abilities you acquire as you progress will determine what kind of coach you develop into. Unlock additional skill trees with better abilities. Or if you build up multiple skill trees, you can unlock hybrid trees that leverage a more diverse skill set.
Now that's cool.
The coaching carousel is an important part of every coach's journey. Whether you're the head man
Let's go, Chad. Coaching carousel's back.
at your dream school or working your way up, the carousel is your way of fielding offers from other programs. Head coaches in Dynasty can actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a job elsewhere, or you decide to cut ties for other reasons, you can use the carousel to replace them. Remember, even the greatest coaches need support, and every coach has a unique skill tree. It's important to think about how you want to build your staff, whether that's doubling down on your existing strengths to max out your benefits or seeking out balance for a well-rounded staff. Choose wisely. The decisions you make here will matter to your program's success and your coach's progression. The benefits of coach talents are stackable. So if your head coach and defensive coordinator have the same ability, the impact for that ability will be greater. Well, that's it for today's deep dive into Dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football 25. To make it game day every day this season.
Wow. That looked really good. I don't think there's really anything to, have to review over like specific snapshots this second, since we can just look at the Dynasty Deep Dive website. But ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a lot of words that we're going to have to read. This is 18,000 or 8,000, something or other, super duper long deep dive campus huddle. But yo, that looked really good. The recruiting looked very in-depth. The transfer portal being included in mid-season, being able to recruit younger players. I don't know, man. That looked amazing. But If you are appreciative of a channel like this to read every single word in the Dynasty Deep Dive, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn the notifications bell on, because I promise you won't regret it. Fridge, what was your thoughts on the trailer before we get into the Deep Dive Campus Huddle blog?
I mean, it looked great. I'm kind of excited to figure out how that all works, but it's going to take a little bit of time because, you're more used to the college games than I am, but I'm definitely excited.
You're more of a Madden guy.
Yeah.
And
I've always here soon, though.
Yeah, I've always been playing the college games nearly my whole life. So recruiting, I mean, it looked really good. Like, I've never been a huge fan of the old games recruitings. I've always kind of preferred 13 over 14. 13's recruiting, I think, might have been too hard. 14's recruiting felt too easy with the point system, and it looks like they finally found a good medium. And, now that the transfer portal is such a big deal in football, that's going to be a really important part. But let's go ahead and get into the College Football 25 Dynasty Deep Dive. Like I said, make sure you sub if you haven't, if you appreciate channels like this, just talking about college football, having to read through the deep dive. Building Dynasty, when they were in the early stages of designing Dynasty mode, they talked with the members of the community, college football experts, and coaches, reading hundreds of blog posts and tweets, watched countless wish list videos. They know how important Dynasty was to their community, and they heard loud and clear that their players wanted a deep experience that is representative. Is that the word? Representative of the current college football landscape, where roster management and talent acquisition are at the forefront of successful programs. With this in mind, they anchored their experience around three core pillars: build your coach, build your program, deliver the world of college football. Build your coach. This encompasses the decisions you make on your coaching journey to the top of the college football world, whether that's starting as a coordinator as a small school and making the name for yourself before getting the first head coaching job, or starting as a head coach at your dream school. Every decision you make on your own matters. Build your program. As the old saying goes, to win college football is not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football, and having a consistent winner means that you need a roster that is built to reload rather than rebuild. That all starts in the high school recruiting trail, but in modern college football, roster retention and utilizing the transfer portal are instrumental in your ability to field a championship team. Deliver the world of college football. A lot has started in college football over the last year, let alone the last 11 years. From the new 12-team college football playoff to conference realignment, they set out to recreate the ever-changing world of college football within Dynasty and provide us with the tools to customize our experience. Can we just admit seeing the Pac-2 was hilarious?
That was funny.
It kind of was. Ooh, okay. So we have a screenshot of what the Play Now menu looks like on Dynasty mode. It kind of reminds me of the older games, just like a redone version. We have the news segments right here with all the news posts. You got play game, then you look at top stories, then recruiting. You can advance week. There's a college football, coach, team, stats and records, and Dynasty Central. This all looks really good. This looks really, really good. Build your coach. Your journey to the top of the college football world starts with your coach. They wanted this to be meaningful and allow you to experience the coaching journey that no other sport can provide. They met with college football coaches and experts and started breaking down real-life coaches on the whiteboard. What was their identity? What made them great? What was their journey to get where they are today? What they found, that both current and former coaches broadly fit into three main categories. Some are incredible recruiters, while others are motivators who maximize the potential of their players. And lastly, tacticians out-scheme their opponents on field with X's and O's. There were also a number of coaches who were more of a hybrid between the two categories. For example, there were coaches who were great at both recruiting and X's and O's. After breaking down hundreds of coaches, two things were loud and clear. No coach was great at everything. There is no single path to being a great coach. What about the greatest coach of all time? Even they weren't looking at everything great and needed their coordinators. Let's look back at 2013. Alabama's offense had fallen behind. The world of college football offenses was changing and changing quickly. They had to pivot and change their entire philosophy, bringing in an offensive guru who transferred the Alabama offense and put the program on an entirely new trajectory, playing in 6 of the next 8 national championships. That's insane. Bama's just a huge dynasty, man. While creating multiple first-round drafted quarterbacks. All of their research and discussions led them to build a coach experience centered around these 3 goals. Just like the real world, no coach could be great at everything. A rock, paper, and scissors relationship between coach types, and no dominant progression path, and coordinators, and how you build your staff meter. Or staff matter. I thought that said meter. Coach progression. Progressing your coach starts with the playing games. As you play, you will complete coach goals that award XP. Once you earn enough XP, you will level up your coach to a maximum of level 50 and be rewarded coach points. Coach points can be used to upgrade your coach's abilities. There are 4 coach XP goal categories that can be every game, weekly, season, or career goals. There's draft, pro draft goals based on which round your player's drafted in. For example, player drafted in first round. Game, individual game goals that range from a single play result, like interception, rushing touchdown, to a full game result. For example, beat your rival, beat a top 25 team, and win a national championship. Recruiting, determined by your success on the recruiting trail. Recruiting goals can be specific to a single prospect. For example, sign a 5-star prospect, or a full season, like sign the best recruiting class in the country. And then stats, weekly goals like ranked in the top 10. Season stat goals, for example, 4,000 team passing yards and rank top 5 in offensive yards. And career goals like win 5 national championships. The number of times you've completed a goal and progress toward goal completion can be viewed in the Coach XP goal screens, which can be accessed via the Coach tab in the Dynasty Hub. They've also added 5 progression speed settings so you can modify how fast coaches progress in your Dynasty. I love that. Man, that looks really good, that you can actually look at all of the times that your game goals were completed and stuff. 198 first downs, fumbles recovered, wins, sacks, rushing touchdowns, passing touchdowns. That looks really good.
Awesome.
And you could even see your offensive and defensive teams. Each time you completed a goal in-game, you will receive a notification in the top left corner of the screen. The notification will describe the completed goal and XP reward. Oh, that's sick. Oh, the touchdown graphic looks really good. Man, this looks good. Make sure you guys hit the sub button, by the way. After completing a game or advancing the next week, you will receive an XP summary screen showing your progression to the next level. I love that. I love that they're including this back from NCAA 14, because 14 had a little graph on the top that when you would get all these different XP type things, you would get that for your coach tree. Coach archetypes. In College Football 25, they are introducing a new archetype-based coach ability system. You can think of this similar to your traditional RPG classes, where all your party members have a specific class, archetype, and role. Ultimately, in order for your team to be successful, all the players in your party must do their job and work together. Their system is no different. All coaches will start with a base class or coach archetype, which can be taught of as your special ability in a special RPG. Just like our real-life coaches, the base archetype fall into 3 main categories: recruiting, motivation, think player development, and program culture and scheme, on-field X's and O's. From your base archetype, you can progress in multiple ways. You can either become an expert in a single category like recruiting, where you can become an elite recruiter and excel on the recruiting trail. Alternatively, you can become a hybrid coach who is strong in multiple areas. For example, a talent developer who is great at both talent acquisition, recruiting, and player development and motivation. The ultimate goal is to become a program builder or CEO atop the world of college football. Achieving an elite archetype like program builder or CEO is a combination of on-field success and ability progression. There is no single formula to reach these statuses. You'll be able to mix and match different ability combinations and progression paths, leading to strong customizations. In total, there are 11 different archetypes, each with their own focuses and perks. Together, they will form a rock, paper, scissors relationship where there is no dominant archetype. While there is no doubt that talent acquisition is the most important thing in college football, focusing solely on recruiting could leave you vulnerable in other areas. Remember, no coach can be great at everything. Every decision you make on your coaching journey matters. Once you purchase an ability, there's no going back, as you will not be able to respec your coach. The screen right here just looks amazing. How do I upgrade my archetype and what does it do? Each archetype has a set of prerequisites and objectives that must be completed in order to purchase an item or purchase them. For example, in order to become an elite recruiter, you must spend 50 coach points in the recruiter archetype and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. Once these goals are complete, the archetype becomes available for purchase with coach points. When creating your coach, you will select which base archetype you will want to start with. The 2 base archetypes will then be available for purchase with coach points without the need to meet any additional requirements. Purchasing an archetype with coach points unlocks a new set of abilities as well as new opportunities in the coaching carousel. More on that later. Additionally, each archetype has a perk when it's active. For example, Tactician has the winner perk, which awards additional coach XP every time you win a game. Your active archetype is automatically determined. If you own the Program Builder or CEO archetypes, they will always be your active archetype, regardless of how many coach points you've spent in other archetypes. If you do not own these archetypes, then your coaching archetype, there's a lot of archetype words in here, is the archetype you have spent the most coach points in. All owned coach abilities are always on, regardless of which archetype is currently active. Your progress can be viewed in the coach ability screen, which is accessible from the coach tab of the Dynasty Hub. Within the screen, you can see all of the coach or available archetypes, their unlock requirements and perks, and your overall progression in each archetype as you spend coach points in each archetype. The spider graph in the center of the screen will morph and show your coach's DNA. I love this, by the way. This looks good. Michael Mueller. How do the abilities work? Once you own an archetype, you can purchase the abilities within it using coach points. In College Football 25, they are introducing more than 50 coach abilities. Each ability can have up to 4 tiers, and every tier has a purchase cost associated with it. Every archetype, with the exception of Scheme Guru, Program Builder, and CEO, has their abilities broken down by each position group. This increases their level of depth and specialization each coach has. No longer is a coach great at recruiting across the board. Now coaches will specialize in specific position groups, making your staff composition that much more important. Are you a quarterback whisperer? Are you great in the trenches and committing to the no-fly zone? How does your staff complement you? In addition to position-based boosts, there are also coach abilities with core gameplay effects so you can really cook. For example, the Scheme Guru archetype focuses on your gameplay style. If you are a coach who likes play fast, you can upgrade fast tempo offense, providing you with the following boosts: battery pack, offensive players fatigue slower and hurry up, caught napping, increased delay to defenders looking at the sidelines at the snap, on their heels, team composure boost for first down gained while running hurry up, and tipped your hand, chance to see defenses coverage shell and hurry up. You can also make your team well-oiled machine who doesn't work against themselves and is unfazed by rowdy home field crowds by upgrading disciplined communications ability. On offense, this provides slight reduction in crowd noise impact on the field, significant reduction of crowd noise impact on the road. Offensive players will commit slightly fewer penalties, and offensive players will commit slightly fewer penalties again. Of course, balance is critically important here. So there are defensive counters for all of the offensive playstyle abilities. Is your defense looking a little sus? Did they really just say a little sus? Oh my gosh. Are you tired of getting punched in the mouth by a physical ground and pound team?
That's crazy.
Upgrade your ground and pound defense to become a stout run defense and reduce the effects of a physical offense continuously running the ball. The Program Builder and CEO archetypes are different in which they are only available to head coaches. The abilities, I see the chat in the corner of my eye. The abilities within them are diverse and range from roster management and program culture to home field advantage and recruiting pipeline boosts. So you can look at Stanford coach abilities for a Stanford coach right here. Look at recruiter trees, running game, purchase upgrades for recruiting running backs and fullbacks. Is fullbacks even still a position at this point, man? I know it is, but what about coordinators? Both coordinators and head coaches have the same set of abilities and archetypes available to them, leading a natural progression from coordinator to head coach and increased importance on staff management, where your coordinators either complement your strengths or shore up your deficiencies. Remember, no coach can be great at everything, so it is critical that your coordinators complement you. Hold on, I got to take a sip of water real quick.
No water allowed.
Sorry, my throat was getting dry. This is your time to hit the sub button if you haven't, and turn on the notifications bell. If you appreciate me sitting down and reading this 18,000 word deep dive, then just at least hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button helps. You can always unsubscribe later if you feel like it. Both coordinators and head coaches have the same set of abilities and archetypes available to them, leading a natural progression from coordinator to head coach and increased importance on staff management, where your coordinators can either complement your strengths or shore up your... I already read that, didn't I? I probably did. All of the abilities your coaching staff owns stacked together, increasing the effect of an ability. Abilities owned by the head coach have the greatest impact. The impact of coordinator-based or coordinator-owned abilities depends on whether or not the ability is related to either or to their side of the ball. For example, a defensive coordinator having the quarterback icy veins ability, which boosts your quarterback's composure at the beginning of the game, will have a much smaller effect than an offensive coordinator owning it. Ooh. So defensive coordinators can still get offensive coordinator coach abilities, but it won't greatly affect it, unlike if you were an offensive coordinator. Your coordinators will automatically progress their archetypes and abilities. You will not be able to control which abilities they purchase, nor will you be able to respec your coordinator's abilities. This adds even more importance to how you progress your coach and manage your staff of the coaching carousel. That's good because, like, getting an offensive coordinator in the offseason and just looking at each one's skills, like maybe you're a read option team and you're looking at some who are just good at the option at offensive coordinator, and that's who you would want to hire in the coaching carousel. So that's really important, is finding a good coordinator that fits your schemes that have the same coach abilities that you need to lead your team. You can view the abilities with your coordinator's own from within the coach ability screen by tabbing left and right with LB, RB, L1, R1. Each coach will have a unique spider graph based on their abilities and archetypes they own. Pressing R3 will overlay the three coaches' spider graphs. You can quickly see where your staff is efficient or deficient. Wow, that looks amazing. Climbing the coaching ladder. Your journey starts when you sign your first coach contract. When creating your dynasty, you will have the option to select if you want to be a head coach, offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator. Coordinators will have performance expectations just like a head coach. All roles will have full control of recruiting and be able to play both sides of the ball during gameplay. Sign here, please. Each time you start a new coaching job, you'll be asked to sign a contract with that school. The contract will have a set contract length and performance expectations. Just like in real life, failure to meet those expectations will result in bad things happening. School expectations are determined by the school's current team prestige and program standing. The better the school, the higher the expectations. There are 4 types of contract expectations. Win an X amount of games, win a conference championship, make the playoffs, win a national championship. Your job security will fluctuate throughout the season based on the results of your games and whether or not you are trending towards meeting your contract expectations. The further you are from meeting your expectations, the bigger your job security will be hit. If your job security gets low, you will end up on the hot seat. If your seat gets too hot, you'll be fired and have to look for a new job in the coaching carousel. Alternatively, meeting or exceeding your goal will result in increased job security. Of course, if you don't like the possibility of you getting fired, you can always turn off user coach firing in your dynasty settings. So that's good. If you guys want to do like simulation rebuilds and you turn like all your overalls to like a specific overall that are very low, then you can always turn that off so you don't get fired in the middle of like your simulation rebuild. Job security is a function of your ability to meet your contract expectations. Every win and loss counts towards that expectation. With that being said, not all wins and losses are created equal. Being a higher ranked team will have larger impact than beating one of the generic FCS teams. Similarly, losing to a generic FCS team is not a good look. If you're losing to an FCS team, you're already on the hot seat. All coaches have a coach progression letter grade that ranges from A+ to F. Coach prestige is reflective of your ability to meet contract expectations adjusted for the school and role that you have. For example, meeting expectations and winning 5 games at a small school will have a significantly smaller impact than winning the SEC championship at a traditional powerhouse school. At the end of your contract, the school will evaluate whether or not you want to extend your contract based on your performance. If you are offered an extension, you will be notified that the school has decided to extend your contract, and it will be automatically accepted. Don't worry, automatic acceptance of contract extensions doesn't mean you are unable to change jobs. You can leave for a new job via the coaching carousel at any point in your contract.
Yo, Ash, are you still talking?
Dude, my microphone muted all by itself.
I
What
was about to
happened?
say, I'm like, I'm not hearing none.
What was the last thing you heard?
Bro, I don't know. It's been quiet for a bit. Also, I'm taking this time. I gotta go to work, so sorry about leaving y'all, but I gotta dip.
Okay, see you, Fridge.
All right, see
Sorry,
you
my
guys.
microphone is so buggy, it's been muting all by itself. So I really apologize for that. So I'll try and keep an eye out because I don't know what's wrong with it. It mutes all by itself, and it legitimately makes me mad. But let me see. The season by season results show the team's record. If they were a conference champion in any bowl games they won in that season. When signing your contract, you will have the opportunity to look at the last 20 years and see the kind of program you are taking over. Of course, your program's history will continue to update over time as you play your dynasty. So you can look at this. You can see their record from the past seasons and stuff. You can even see the bad 2020 year record, which is interesting. You can even see all the bowl games you won. So just like what you can see in 14. Following the 2021 to 22 football regular season, 2 high-profile schools in LSU and USC were looking for new coaches. Both schools did what nobody saw coming and hired elite coaches from other high-profile schools. Suddenly, other high-profile jobs were unexpectedly available, and the coaching carousel was in full effect. In College Football 25, they set out to recreate the chaos that is college football and coaching carousel, along with the domino effect it brings. Now, instead of happening over a single week, the coaching carousel takes place over the course of 5 weeks, from conference championship week to the end of bowl season. Just like the real world, additionally, the coaching carousel is now an asynchronous experience where the user can evaluate their offers without the need to wait on somebody else. I lost where I was at. That way, in their multi-user online dynasty, the entire carousel experience won't be held up because you are sitting around waiting for your friend to get on and evaluate their job offer, only for them to tell you they want to stay at their current job. How does the coaching carousel work? The carousel kicks off during conference championship week. During this week, all coaching contracts are preceded, and schools determine if they want to fire, extend, or let a coach's contract expire. If your school has decided to fire or extend you, you'll receive an action item notifying you of the news. If you're the head coach, you'll also be able to fire coordinators during this week. More on that later. Once you advance the week and arrive in bowl season, the first round of job offers go out. If you received any job offers, you'll be received via an action item named View Job Offers. If you did not receive any offers, you will have a generic action titled Coach Carousel. Pressing the action item will take you to the Coach Carousel screen where you can view any job offers you have as well as the open jobs around the country. Just because you didn't receive any offers in the first week of bowl season, or if you didn't like the offers you received, doesn't mean your coach carousel experience is over. Remember, the coach carousel takes place over the course of multiple weeks. The first week of bowl season is just the beginning, as schools hire and poach coaches from other schools. Their previous jobs will become available as an unexpected job opening, and the schools will look to hire a replacement in the following week. When viewing a job offer, you will see the school's new coach preferences. and what happened to their previous coach and who the top candidates are for the job. You'll also see the contract they are offering you and what contract expectations are. Once you accept an offer, you will stay with your current school until after the national championship game, which is when all job changes are preceded. This allows you to take one last ride with your current team and coach any bowl games that they play in. I love that. There will be a countdown in the top right corner of your Dynasty Hub informing you of how many weeks remaining until you change jobs. And if you accept a head coach position, you'll be able to manage your staff and hire coordinators at your new school during the rest of the carousel period. If you are fired or contract expired and you do not accept a new job before the end of the carousel, you will automatically be placed on a new team after the national championship game. I love that. I love that. How do schools determine who they want to hire? Each school has a school persona which determines what they are looking for in their next head coach. Schools will evaluate candidates across the following criteria. Level, the higher the coach's level, the more powerful they are and the more abilities they have. Schools are always looking for the highest caliber coaches that they can find. Their schemes, certain coaches like military academies want a coach who run a specific style of offense or defense. Archetype, schools who have a preference on the type of coach who they are looking for to hire. Just like the real world, blue bloods prefer elite coaches who are program builders or CEOs. Pipelines. All coaches have a primary pipeline which provides a boost in recruiting. This is meant to simulate an area of the country where they have strong ties and relationships in recruiting. Schools prefer coaches whose primary pipeline is the same as one of the school's recruiting pipelines. And then coach prestige. A coach's prestige is compared against the school's team prestige. A 5-star program is not going to hire a coach who is mid. And only have a C- coach prestige. Guys, we're not even a quarter of the way through. Together, these form an overall school fit score, which is then used to generate a list of candidates for the job. The school will then extend an offer to one of the coaches. I do want to take a break and take a sip of water again. If you haven't subbed, make sure you do because it's the least of help that you can do. It really helps. But man, this is a long blog. You can see the scroll graph on the right here. We're not even a third of the way through. Game theory, but that's just a theory. No, I'm sorry. And the domino effect. It is important to keep in mind the domino effect when you're evaluating whether or not to accept an offer. Just because a job isn't open today doesn't mean it won't be available next week, and you can view all the current job openings by using the All Openings filter in Coach Carousel screen. Every open job will list out the top candidates the school is targeting. Once the week is advanced, one of the 3 candidates will leave their current job and accept the new open job. This allows you to predict which jobs may be available next week. I like that. You can also view the coach movements across the college football world in the staff move screen. The staff move screen can be available during the staff moves action item in the Dynasty Hub. Staff moves show all the coaches who changed jobs, their former/new team, and reason for leaving. For example, right here, Oregon State Coach Carousel. User offered head coaches at Western Michigan, Toledo, Memphis, and Bowling Green. See their overall, see their record last season, see what conference they're in. New coaching preferences, doesn't have to be alma mater. Base schemes, offensive schemes, primary archetypes. Previous head coach, you look at their name, what type of guru, and they left for a new job. You can look at the top candidates too. I love that, man. That's crazy. This is, I don't even know what to say. This looks insanely good. Oh, there's multiple pictures here. Okay. You can look over here. Ooh, you can look at, is there a bar graph under it? Show the progress of how possible it is to grab that job, maybe. All openings. There's Ball State head coach, offensive coordinator, Fresno State, Hawaii, North Texas, Ole Miss defensive coordinator, Ole Miss head coach, Rice head coach. You can look at all the new jobs. Man, that looks good. That looks good. Yeah, keep in mind, chat, we are 25 subs away from 4,000. So if you want to help us get to 4,000 subs before we even finish the Dynasty blog, then that would be greatly appreciated. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button and even hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss an upload or a live stream. Because once this game comes out, man, we're going to be rolling. We're going to be rolling. And right here, you can look at staff moves. You can look at all of them, all the head coaches and coordinators, all the teams, talents, and reasons why they were fired. Ooh, your coach can leave for the NFL. Yeah, we mentioned that in the when we were watching the deep dive. The score bugs are different in the championship game. I don't know if that's for the whole playoffs or just for the championship game, but it looked good. But your coach can be fired. A new coach can be hired. They can retire, go to the NFL. I mean, that looks great. Imagine like your coordinator's leaving for the NFL. Or if your coordinator and your head coach leaves for the NFL, and maybe you get offered a head coaching position. Managing your staff. As a head coach, you will now have the opportunity to manage your staff and hire/fire your coordinators. Remember, our coach archetype system does not allow you to be great at everything, making who you surround yourself with much more important. Staff management is your opportunity to build your staff the way you want in an effort to put yourself in the best position to succeed as a program. You're fired. Managing your staff starts during conference championship week. During this week, you'll be able to fire coordinators. Be careful because this is the only week that you can do this. After this week, you are unable to replace a coordinator unless they are hired away by another school. Interesting. Your coordinators will not leave unless you fire them or are hired by another school. Every coordinator has a standard 2-year contract. Once their contract expires, it will be automatically renewed for another 2 years. Of course, if you don't like them, you can always tell them they're fired. If your coordinator has 1 year or less remaining in their current contract, there's a chance they'll be poached and leave for another school. If this happens during the carousel, you will have the opportunity to hire a replacement. Welcome to the team. Starting bowl week 1, you can hire new coordinators if you have an open position. When you go to hire a new coordinator, you will be presented with a curated list of candidates. These coaches are chosen for you based on the needs for your school. The logic that is used to determine the list is similar to the AI school logic to determine their top candidates. When looking at a candidate, we'll be able to see their current school, active archetype, coach level, and what schools are interested in them. They are the schools that you would be competing with if you made them a job offer. You can also view the coach's talent tree, so you can drill down more deeply and see whether or not they would be a good fit with your staff. When you make an offer to a coach, it is not a guarantee that they accept it. You can only offer one coach per position each week. Once you have offered them, they will appear in your staff management screen with an offer tag. When you advance the week and re-enter the screen, you will find out whether or not they accepted your offer. If they did, they will join your program after the national championship game. When we process all coach moves, if they rejected the offer, you'll have the opportunity to offer another coach. You'll at least have one coach available to hire who does not require you to compete with another school. If at the end of the carousel, if you've not been able to fill an open position, you will automatically be given a new coordinator that is on par with the caliber of your program. You look at staff management right here. Look at head coach, offensive coach, defensive coach. You can hire coaches, view talent trees. This looks amazing, man. Oh, there's more photos here. You look at hire staff. You can look at all the defensive and offensive coordinators that you can hire from here. You can look at the interested schools that they're interested in too. Let's see. Trevor McKee, Danny White. I know these are generic names, but still. You can view their talent tree too. And boom, look at that. Hire the defensive coordinator from Ball State as your new defensive coordinator. It was a C+ rating. Offer pending, it says too. Build your program. There is no question that in today's world, roster management and talent acquisition are at the forefront of college football in building your program. Players can now transfer whenever they want and have the expectations for you to build your program. Some are looking to play early, others want to win championships and play in big-time games, and stars want to grow their brand beyond the field. Aligning what you and your program can do for them has never been more important. They began their design process by talking with current and former coaches, players, and recruiting experts. What is coaching and roster management like in the current era? How have player management or motivations played? Gosh, I can't speak. How have player motivations changed? What causes a player to transfer? What differentiates a big-time program from a smaller school when it comes to how they operate on the recruiting trail? At the same time, they spent a ton of time during quantitative research. They wanted to know anything and everything about recruiting and roster management. This ranged from how many 5, 4, and 3-star prospects there are each year to what makes a California quarterback different from a Florida quarterback. They focused heavily on different geographic regions and what they are known for, as well as researching the recruiting journeys of hundreds of prospects. Why did they ultimately sign with the schools that they did? What did the schools and their offer in their top 5 and top 3 have in common with each other? Why did they visit some schools but not others? What roles did the head coach and coordinators play in the recruiting process? Lastly, they spent time talking with their community on what they expected from recruiting and program management. Players liked the recruiting in older games because it had depth, but it also tedious at times. On the contrary, the latest iteration was fast, but it was also shallow and cold. Thank you, EA, for acknowledging that 13's was in depth but took too long, and 14's was easy but too fast. You never actually felt like you were establishing a relationship with the prospect. You wanted to find a way to blend the two to that recruiting felt meaningful and allowed you to build a connection with recruits through discovery while also being conscious of your time each week. Ultimately, they landed on 4 core goals when building your program. Humanize recruits by giving them unique needs and motivations that each player has to discover by interacting with the recruit. Differentiate regions of the country by player caliber, quality, and type to authentically capture high school talent based on historical real-world data. Represent the different resources available to schools, ensuring the top schools can blanket the country, while smaller schools will need to be more targeted with their approach. Make the transfer portal feel authentically unpredictable. Welcome to staged recruiting. In College Football 25, they are introducing a new staged recruiting experience built around 3 distinct phases: discovery, pitch, and close. Just like the real world, each recruit can be in a different stage of their process. While they are in the process, where they are in the process will dictate how you interact with them and the level of engagement that they require. Recruiting begins with discovery. In this initial stage, you are finding which prospects to target, what their skills are, what they care about the most. This stage is about uncovering information about the recruit as quickly as possible. Did my microphone unmute again? Nope, it says it's working. Recruiting begins with I already read that. Once a recruit announces their top 5 schools, it's time to pitch. During the pitch phase, you are selling to your recruit on your program and what you offer. How well your school aligns with your motivations will determine how successful you are. The final stage is to close. This is when you bring a recruit in for an official visit and attempt to leave a lasting impression about your program. If the visit goes well, you'll make a huge gains with the recruit, possibly securing a verbal commitment following the visit. Ultimately, the recruit will make their final decision on National Signing Day. Before we dive deeper into each of these, let's start by discussing how each school and recruit is unique. Man, we're still not even a third of the way through. When we talk about there being 134 different ways to play, they're talking more than just on-field gameplay. Each school is graded from D+ to A+ across 14 different categories, which comprise their My School grades. These grades define who a program is and what their strengths and weaknesses are. No 2 programs are the same, and grades will dynamically change over the course of your dynasty based on your school's performances and actions. The 14 grades are as follows. Playing time. This represents how long it will take for a player to become a starter at their position. Playing time is individualized to each recruit and player based on their position group and overall. Playing style. This is a representation of how you play. Each player archetype that has a stat that is tracked over the course of the season. How high that stat is relative to other stat determines your grade. For example, field general quarterbacks playing style grade is driven by passing yards per game. Championship contender. This measures how close the team is winning to a championship. It takes into account the team's current ranking and roster composition. Program tradition. This is a holistic view of program's history and success over time based on the number of conference and national championships, total wins, and awards won. Campus lifestyle. This is a representation of the city and areas surrounding the campus, as well as the campus itself. This grade cannot be changed or impacted.
Stadium atmosphere. This is driven by the stadium's toughest places to play ranking, which is determined by a team's historical performance in home games. Pro potential. This is a projection of how likely it is that players on the current roster will play on Sundays. Brand exposure. This grades a team's overall brand recognition. The potential NIL exposure or opportunities a player could get at the school and how often the school plays in primetime games. Academic prestige. This ranks all universities based on real-world academic rankings. This grading cannot be changed. Conference prestige. This represents the overall strength of a conference based on each conference member's team prestige. Coach prestige. This is a reflection of the coaches of the school's coaching staff. The head coach carries the most weight here, but coordinators are also taken into account. Coaching stability. This measures how long the coaching staff has been in place and how likely they will be to remain there the next 4 years. Athletic facilities. This grade features the quality of athletic facilities for how the program, waterfalls, and barbershops are a plus here. Proximity to home. This grade is unique to each recruit and is based on where the school is in relation to the recruit's home pipeline. I do want to take another water break. We are 12 subs away from 4,000. So if you want to hit the subscribe button, it really helps. It's the least that you can do for me having to sit here and read this 18,000 word deep dive. Because, man, is this a lot of words. My mouth is getting dry pretty quickly. So like I said, if you can, hit the like button. It really helps. And if you already have subscribed, make sure you hit the like button. And if you have already done all that, then make sure you pop a bag of popcorn. Oh, my voice cracked. Each grade has a unique set of grading criteria. For example, playing time is graded on a per player basis. The players overall are projected overall if they are recruited compared to the team's roster to project how many years it will take for them to become a starter. Actions you take on the recruiting trail will impact the playing time grade of both recruits and players on your current roster. Even if a player is a starter today, signing new players and recruiting may negatively impact their playing time and grade, cause them to enter the transfer portal. On the other hand, championship contender uses a combination of your top 25 poll ranking, team prestige, and an assessment of your current roster quality, while Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio, which looks at the percentage of your roster that is made up of 5 and 4 stars. I love that. Finally, there's brand exposure, which is a reflection of your school's brand and potential NIL opportunities a player could earn at your school. While you won't see players having a mustard named after them in College Football 25, recruits and transfers alike will assess their NIL earning potential and branding opportunities when considering where to go. Getting a mustard named after you is crazy, though. Unfortunately, that's not in the game. Most grades update dynamically throughout the season, while some only update at the end of every season. It's important to keep tabs on your grades throughout the season and how you are trending, because a slide in your grade could trigger the decommitments from verbally committed recruits or sudden transfer portal exodus at the end of the season. Your grades also play a pivotal role in recruiting and how well it will determine your pitches land with a recruit. You can see all of your grades and detailed information about them in the My School screen, which can be accessed from the Recruiting Hub. This screen will also allows you to assess your school's current strengths and weaknesses, as well as how you can improve each grade to become a stronger program. Highlighting a grade will show you the steps it will take to improve it, where you are currently ranked amongst other teams, as well as other players are at risk of transferring because they have a deal breaker attached to that grade. More on deal breakers and why a player would decide to leave later. So you can look at players' top schools right here. Man, that looks really good. Conference prestige stuff, academic prestige. Man, it's so weird seeing Stanford in the ACC. That makes no sense to me. We are currently 4 subs away from 4,000. So make sure you hit the sub button. We could get there very, very soon. As we look at other top schools, wow, you can even look down all the way into like 79. That's crazy. And recruitings and stuff. That's really cool. Each week, the game will surface this information to you in a weekly summary, allowing you to quickly see the health of your program and any changes. The My School report will show you grades that were positively or negatively impacted by your actions in the last week, as well as any grades that have players who are at risk of transferring if it gets too low. Players at risk. Oh, wow. You can see their risk of transfer. Wow. This guy's almost losing both of his running backs. Championship contenders, program traditions. Right, so you can look at each things and see which players are at risk of leaving due to that thing. That's interesting. Collectively, your My School grades from your team prestige, which can be thought as your My School GPA team prestige grades, teams from 0 to 5 stars in half-star increments based on their current My School grades. Very few programs will achieve elite 5-star status, and even fewer will be able to maintain it for a prolonged period of time. Ultimately, team prestige plays a pivotal role in recruiting and the caliber of players who want to play for your program. Guys, we hit 4,000. We're at 4,005 subs. Can we get a Trasher Got there in the chat for us hitting 4,000 subs? That is insane. Thank you guys very much. I'll make a video after the live stream's over. Thanking you guys. You guys have been an insane community. Great supporters of the channel. Like I said, I'll make sure to make a video thanking you guys after the live stream is over. Recruits and where they got from. Each season, more than 3,500 recruits are generated from across the country. Just like the real world, each class is different. Some years they have a plethora of great quarterback talent, while others have fewer great prospects. Similarly, the quantity and quality of prospects from each region of the country will vary. Certain regions will be more consistent in the caliber, quality, and type of recruits they produce from than others. For example, Southern California is known for producing great quarterback talent, while East Texas consistently produces some of the best wide receivers in the country. However, we didn't stop there. They wanted to go deeper to ensure they were capturing the authenticity of high school talent. Yes, East Texas is known for producing great receivers, but more specifically, they are known for how big and physical their receivers are. As a result, you'll be going to see more bigger and more physical receivers coming out of East Texas, whereas Southern Florida are going to produce incredibly fast, deep threat receivers who have smaller size. What a recruit cares about. There are 14 different motivations a recruit can care about, all of which map out to one of the My School grades described above. Which motivations they care about are influenced by their star rating. A 5-star prospect is going to care about getting to the next level, winning championships, and growing their brand with NIL opportunities than a 2-star will. By contrast, a 2-star is more likely to care about staying close to home, coach stability, and academics. Each recruit will have 3 motivations that they care about. These 3 motivations will form what they call their ideal pitch. During the discovery stage, your job as a recruiter is to find the ideal pitch as fast as possible to determine whether or not they will align with your program. If a recruit doesn't align with your program, you're going to have an uphill battle to sign them. There's a chance that one of the 3 ideal pitch motivations is also a deal breaker. Deal breakers represent a motivation that a recruit is extremely passionate about and will not budge on. If you do not satisfy their deal breaker, they will not talk to you. Additionally, a deal breaker stays with the player forever, so once you are on their roster, they will have the same deal breaker they had when you recruited them to your school. You can think of this as a promise to them. If you fail to uphold your side of the deal, there's a chance they will decide to enter the transfer portal at the end of the season. Recruiting pipelines. When they analyzed historical recruiting data, it was clear that even in today's age in recruiting is still highly regionalized. They discuss various recruiting strategies and tactics with current and former coaches. In particular, how they handled recruiting in different areas of the country. All their research and decision led them to a new way of thinking about pipelines in College Football 25. First and foremost, it was clear that not every state is created equal when it comes to recruiting talents and pipelines. Having a pipeline in Florida is much more valuable than one in New York. This made clear the traditional approach of having each state be its own pipeline wouldn't accurately represent the recruiting landscape. One of the goals was to balance pipelines in terms of the quantity and quality of recruits that they come from, as well as how schools tend to look at them. The result was reshaping pipelines to represent a geographic region rather than state. For example, Florida is now broken into 3 different pipelines: North Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida. Similarly to Metro Atlanta is its own pipeline, whereas New York and New Jersey were combined to be a single pipeline. In total, there are 50 pipelines in College Football 25. With the newly shaped pipelines, The new step was to look at every school's recruiting classes each of the last 10 years to identify which parts of the country they primarily recruit in. Using this data, they developed a tiered ranking system to represent how strong a school is in a given pipeline. Each pipeline has 5 levels, and every level was given a pipeline level based on historical data. The higher your pipeline level, the stronger your influence is on the region. This will boost a recruit's initial interest in your school and impact your pitches. A school's pipeline level will never change, which ensures that schools who are historically strong recruiters in a given region will always have an advantage. For example, Florida has historically dominated recruiting in Central Florida in areas like Lakeland, Tampa, and Orlando. Similarly, LSU regularly reaches into East Texas and all along the Gulf Coast. This also accurately reflects the challenges of recruiting to a small school that is not located in or adjacent to a strong pipeline. Generally speaking, your school's pipeline will heavily influence the type of players you'll be able to get and where they are from. The bonuses for being a highest tier in a pipeline are extremely strong in schools who are incentivized to recruit their pipelines. As Oregon expect to compete often with the likes of Washington and USC for players in Southern California and Arizona. Together, pipelines and deal breakers create a much more realistic and less exploitable recruiting experience. While it is still possible to land 4 stars as a small school, it will require the right fit and heavy investment of resources and time. Our hope is that you will no longer have to make custom house rules in your online Dynasty to prevent your friend from cheesing the system. Man, I'm getting out of breath here. Whew. I got to take a moment to gather some oxygen back in me because I'm starting to feel a little lightheaded just from talking so much. Initial interest in top schools. Here, let me take another sip of water. Gotta stay hydrated, chat. Every recruit will start with a list of schools they are interested in. When a recruit generates their initial top schools list, they evaluate each school's My Schooled grades in relation to their ideal pitch and motivations. They also take into account their home pipeline and proximity to home. This means that recruits from Atlanta are more likely to have schools in the Southeast than their initial top schools. However, some prospects will look to leave home and play for a school further if away if schools outside the region fit their needs better, or if they don't consider any schools in the area good enough for them. Similarly, most of the top schools for a prospect who values academics are going to be similar to one another. For example, as Rice, you will often see that recruits who are interested in your school are also interested in Vanderbilt, Northwestern, and Stanford due to their high academic prestige. I love that. Hey, chat, shout out to NedMac5. He makes like really funny college football 25 meme compilation videos, so go check those out. Depending on the motivation and location of a recruit, it is possible for them to be open to hearing from any school or already narrowed down to a top 8 or even a top 5. Once recruiting starts, recruits will narrow down to their top schools over time, going from an open to top 8 to top 5 to top 3, and ultimately commitment. Your job is to stay above the outline each week. Great recruiters will quickly recognize losing battles and pivot their resources to a different prospect with a more promise of commitment. After advancing the week, you will be shown a recruiting summary of any changes in the recruiting statuses, so you can quickly identify where you need to spend your time that week. So you can look right here, look at interests, star ratings, news if you reach their top 8, top 5, top 3, or if they've committed to your school or to another school. I like that. Stage 1, discovery. The first stage of recruiting is discovery, where your goal is to learn information about a prospect as quickly as possible. Also, just because we hit 4,000, you should still hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 5,000 now. Okay, chat? So if you want to sub, make sure you do, and hit the like button if you haven't. The first stage of recruiting is discovery, where your goal is to learn information about a prospect as quickly as possible. The faster you can learn information about the prospect, the sooner you can decide whether or not to pursue them. Discovering intel and information about the recruit is also pivotal in how you can craft your pitch and sell your school to the recruit. Uncovering that information before your competition gives you a huge advantage. Prospect identification. Prospect starts with prospect identification. You can find prospects to recruit from the prospect list. The prospect list defaults to the recommended filter, which identifies recruits who would be a good fit for you. The recommended filter uses the same logic as the AI when they are identifying players to recruit. It takes into account the team position's needs and what pipelines as a recruit is from, recruits' interest in your school, and their star rating. You can quickly filter the prospects list by using L2, LT, position filter, and R2, RT filters, which allows you to filter top prospects, star rating, and state. If you'd like more controls in your search, you can use the advanced search filter or feature by pressing triangle or Y for within the prospect list. Advanced search allows you to search for prospects that match a specific set of criteria. You can search for recruits using the following criteria: position, player type, archetype, state, minimum star rating, height, weight, handedness, quarterbacks only, and interest in your school. When viewing a recruit in the prospect list, you'll be able to see bio information about the recruit, as well as key recruiting information, like whether or not they have a deal breaker, if they satisfy a team need, how interested they are in your school, the recruiting stage, and how many scholarship offers they have. When you find a scholar or recruit you're interested in, you can go ahead and add them to your board by pressing X or A. Keep in mind that you can have only 35 prospects on your recruiting board at a given time. So that'll definitely be interesting. You see their ratings, their names, needs, positions, ranks, targets, stages, what state, what pipelines and classes. I guess class, you can obviously recruit high schools and then transfer portal, and then I'm guessing you'll be able to do, hopefully, JUCO. I hope that you'll be able to recruit JUCO players in this game too. Team needs. When setting up your board, it is important to understand that your current roster strengths and weaknesses. How many players are graduating next season? How many returning starters are you going to have? Within any of the recruiting screens, you can press R3/RS to quickly see your needs at every position. The team needs spreadsheet will show you an overall letter grade for each position, as well as a breakdown for each by school year. For players who are currently on your roster, it will show you how many additional players you will need at the position number, as well as signed to target and positions. Yeah, we're getting close to halfway done. We're getting close. We're not there yet. How many players you will need at position will vary by each scheme. For example, if you run a pass-heavy offensive scheme like the veer and shoot, you will need 10 wide receivers, whereas a pro-style offense only needs 6. Your scheme is tied to your playbook, and the only way to change it is by changing your offensive and defensive playbooks, which can be done at any time. As you continue to target and sign players, your team needs will update accordingly. So you can look at on-roster signed players. Look at high recruits too. That's good. You can look at how many freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, targeted, signed, total, needs, rating. I love that. Recruiting hours. Here we go. Recruiting hours are your core currency to spend on recruiting actions and scouting each week. The amount of recruiting hours you have depends on your team prestige and what part of the season you are in. Teams with a higher team prestige will have more recruiting hours each week. This is meant to model the recruiting resources a program has, with higher tier programs having significantly more resources available to them. For example, in the preseason, a 5-star program will have 1,000 recruiting hours compared to only 350 hours from a 1-star program. So if you're a 1-star program, you'll get significantly less hours than a 5-star program. So if you're Alabama, you're going to get 1,000. If you're Kennesaw State, you're going to get 350. Interesting. The time of the year also impacts your recruits' hours. During the preseason and an off-season recruiting, you don't have to prepare for a game each Saturday. As a result, you have significantly more time to spend on recruiting than you do in the heart of the regular season. In addition to maximum recruiting hours you can spend in a week, each prospect has a maximum number of hours that can be spent on them in a given week. The default maximum is 50 hours, but this can be increased to a maximum of 70 hours with the always be recruiting ability for that position. Recruiting board. The recruiting board is where you will spend the bulk of your time in recruiting. The general layout of the board is familiar to many. On the left, there is a list of all the recruits who are currently on your board. Each recruit shows high-level information about their status, including how many hours you've been allocated to them, how much you've scouted them, and if you've offered them a scholarship, if you've given them a visit or scheduled a visit, their stage, and their interest level in your school. You can filter the list using L2/LT. For example, you can filter the prospects who are ready for a visit, prospects who haven't offered a scholarship to, recruiting stage position, and more. You can also sort the board by national rank, interest status, and recruiting stage. Of course, the board can be manually reordered by R2/RT. Selecting your recruit allows you to dive in deeper and begin interaction with them. At the bottom of the screen, you will see bio information about the recruit, as well as a large bar with stages on it. This bar represents the recruit's overall progression towards each stage and ultimately committing to a team. The dark area of the bar is how much the recruit progressed week over week. Within the Overview tab, you can see a summary of where each school stands. Similar to the top bar, each school has their own bar, which represents the progression with the recruit. The top schools list is a zoomed-in snapshot of the recruit's progression to the next stage. Once a team fills their bar, the recruit will progress to the next stage, and the top school's bars will reset. Any teams below the cut line will be locked out and no longer able to talk with the recruit. I love that. Prince Gee, Mondo, Swenson, Doozable, Dalton, Melvin. Crazy last names. I love it. Scouting. Before you start offering scholarships and dedicating your limited recruiting hours and resources to prospects, it is important to make sure that you're targeting the right ones for your program. During the preseason, you are only able to scout and offer scholarships, so it is a great time to scout players. Thank you, D, by the way. I really appreciate it. We did it. We did it, man. Now we're on the way to 5,000. During the preseason, you are only able to scout and offer scholarships, so it is a great time to scout players and ensure you are targeting the right prospects. In College Football 25, they are introducing a new scouting system designed to represent the ambiguity and progressive discovery of a high school player's skills. No, there is no information on Team Builder as of my knowledge. I'm confused. I thought they said coaches were not in the game. They said real-life coaches are not in the game. Coaches are in the game, just not real-life coaches. I've been saying this for a while, too. Mahoney? Oh, my gosh. That looked a little Mahoney instead of Mahomey. I'm just going to shut up. Everett, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Gaddis, Marvin, Durant. Look at that. So you can look at attributes and scouting. Once you scout players, you'll be able to see attributes, abilities, mentals, and development traits as you go further on in the season. Catching traffic, 82. So you can actually see like all of the different stats and stuff. That's great. I love that. Let me take a sip of water. Prior to scouting a player, you will only be able to see their star rating, height, weight, hometown position, and archetype. You'll see question marks on their attributes and abilities and development trait. The attributes represent the top 10 ratings for their archetype. Each attribute has 4 states of scouting. Unscouted, this is represented by question marks and is the default state for every recruit. Partially scouted, at this stage you will see a horizontal bar appear. On the left side of the bar is 0, and the right side of the bar is 99. Within the bar is the gold zone that covers 25% of the bar space. The player's true rating for that attribute is somewhere in this range. Mostly scouted, once you have mostly scouted a player's attribute, you will have a much clearer picture of the prospect. At this point, the gold zone only covers 10% of the bar. Fully scouted. When a rating is fully scouted, you will know exactly how the prospect is and their exact attribute rating is revealed. Wow, we're already 3 subs away from 4,020. That's crazy. So shout out to all of you who have subbed today. You guys mean a lot. This channel means a lot. I'll go into further depth about it in the video later today, I promise. Fully scouted. When a rating is fully scouted, you will know exactly how good the prospect is and how each attribute rating is revealed. Each time you scout a prospect, you will reveal a limited amount of information about them. Sometimes scouting a player will fully scout an attribute, while other attributes may only be partially scouted. Additionally, each scouting action will also reveal physical and mental abilities. While attributes and abilities are able to be scouted, yeah, we're only halfway through it now, man. This is crazy. Player's development trait is not. When they talk about coaches with identifying a player's development trait, they overwhelmingly said it was an intangible factor that is difficult to identify without a distinct intuition and direct in-person contact with a recruit. As a result of their discussions, the primary time you will unlock the prospect's development trait is on National Signing Day. However, if you own the mind reader ability, there's a chance you will learn their development trait when you spend time with them during their official visit. The coaches they talked about also described how the level of ambiguity and uncertainty around a player's skill set is higher for the lower star rated players. This is because of how much visibility the top prospects get from social media. Scouts in high profile camps, conversely, low star rated recruits generally have less visibility, which leads to a greater recruit of uncertainty and unknown what their true skill is. This creates an opportunity to find a diamond in the rough. No problem, Kinky King. What a name. Hey, Trasher, the home screen reminds me of the NHL menu. I saw somebody in the chat earlier say it kind of reminded them of like the NCAA 07 menu or something like that. It was something like a mid to late 2000s menu. They have modeled this uncertainty and unknown with their gem bus system. When scouting a player, there's a chance you identify with their true skill is actually better or worse. Just like in 14, that their star rating indicates. For example, a 4-star bus is really a 3-star quality prospect, while a 4-star gem has the skill level of a 5-star. Of course, even if a player is a bust, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a bad player. A 5-star bust is still going to be pretty darn good. This system creates a lot of variance in lower star rated prospects and provides you with the opportunity to build your program to the high quality players who slip through the cracks of the recruiting rankings. Landing top blue chip prospects is incredibly difficult, so this can be a highly effective recruiting strategy to build your program. Think back to the rise of Boise State and the consistency of Oregon State in the early to mid 2000s. Both of these programs excelled at finding gems who were under recruited and overlooked by big schools. Chat, if you appreciate me reading out the deep dive so you guys don't have to read it and you can just listen to me read it out, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Make sure you turn on the notifications bell on too. Trying to take a stretch break. Sitting in this chair is getting a little uncomfortable. Man, this is a lot of words. Finding the ideal pitch. Once you've determined a prospect meets your initial criteria, it is time to begin uncovering an intel about their motivations and what they care about. Remember, each prospect has 3 motivations that they care about, which compromise their ideal pitch. Your goal is to discover their ideal pitch as quickly as possible, so that way you know their motivations align with your program, so that way you have the information you need when you need to begin pitching in stage 2. In stage 1, there are 5 recruiting actions you can use to uncover information about the prospect. In addition to uncovering information, you will also gain influence with the prospect. Each action has a recruiting hour cost and corresponding benefit. The more hours you spend on a recruit, the faster you will uncover information and the more influence you will gain. I was just there. You can increase how fast you will uncover information, the amount of influence you earn with the most influential ability, which gives you a bonus to recruiting actions. The 5 recruiting actions are as follows. Offer scholarship. Scholarships will show the prospect that you are interested in them. As a result, you will gain a small weekly influence bonus with the prospect after offering them a scholarship. Additionally, you will not be able to bring them on campus for an official visit or receive the commitment from the prospect until you've received or offered them a scholarship. Interesting. Search social media. Spend some time scrolling through the player's social media to learn a little bit more about them. This will also give you a very small amount of influence when they see you liked their story. Just be careful not to like an image from 3 years ago. DM the player. Message the player directly on social media to start a conversation and learn more information about them. DMs will give you a small amount of influence as you start to build that relationship. Contact friends and family. Make a few phone calls to the player's family and friends to learn a lot more about what the prospect values. This action will also gain a significant amount of influence with the prospect when players get back to them when called when grandma starts raving about you and your program at Thanksgiving dinner. Send the house. From recruiting coordinator to every other coach on your staff, send every available resource you have after a prospect to gain as much influence with them as possible. As you uncover their motivations, they will no longer display a question mark. If the motivation displays a red X, the recruit does not care about it. If it displays a green check mark, this is one of the 3 motivations they care about. With this added depth, monotonous core, it took a significant amount of your time each week. With this in mind, each recruiting action is set it and forget it, meaning they will stay each week over week until the recruit either locks you out, commits, or you decide to change your recruiting actions. Oh yeah, there's more pictures. So you can DM the player, you can look at their social media, contact family and friends, send the house, soft sell, hard sell, add action, schedule visit, scholarship offered, 40% scouting. This looks really good. This looks really, really good. Quincy Ogletree is the player being recruited in this specific screenshot. Stage 2, pitch. We're only a stage 2 of 3. Oh boy. After the recruit narrows their top schools to 5, it is time to begin pitching the prospect on your school and what you have to offer. By this point, you should have a good amount of information about the prospect and what they care about. The more information you have, the more surgical you can be with your pitch. If you do not have much information about the prospect, you will effectively be flying blind and risk pitching them on something that they do not care about. If your pitch does not align with their motivations, you can actually have an adverse effect on their perception about you and your program. When pitching a prospect, there are 2 different pitch types you can do. A soft sell awards a moderate amount of influence when choosing the correct pitch. It also limits the downside risk of penalty in pitching the prospect on something they do not care about. This is best for when you have an idea of what the recruit is motivated by. Hard sell. This provides the most influence when choosing the correct pitch, but it also comes with the largest penalty if you pitch the wrong thing. It is best to hard sell the recruit when you know their ideal pitch or if you are desperate and just hoping for the best. Let me take another sip of water. Gotta stay hydrated. After selecting a pitch type, you will then select your pitch. Each pitch is a collection of 3 motivations, and there are 20 pitches in total. For example, the Sunday bound pitch sets a recruit on your school being a championship contender, its conference prestige, and your school's track record of sending kids to the next level. How well the pitch aligns with the prospect's motivations, as well as your associated my school grades, will ultimately determine how well your pitch lands with the prospect. You can increase the impact of your My School grades with the upsell ability. If your school does not perfectly align with your ideal pitch or with their ideal pitch, or if you're looking for a way to get a competitive advantage, you can sway the prospect and change their motivations. Successfully swaying a prospect, you would give them a second ideal pitch that is only available to you. It is possible that the second ideal pitch also creates a third ideal pitch combination as a result. Your chances of successfully swaying a prospect increase the more overlap there is on their ideal pitch motivations and the pitch that you were trying to sway them on. It is possible to sway them on a pitch with 0 motivation overlap, but it is a very low probability of success. For example, let's say the prospect's current ideal pitch is hometown hero, which includes campus lifestyle, proximity to home, and program tradition. To increase your probability of success, you would want to sway them on a pitch that also has 1 or 2 of the homecoming hero motivations. In this example, let's sway the prospect in the college experience pitch, which includes academic prestige, campus lifestyle, and stadium atmosphere. If our sway is successful, the tradition will now care about academic prestige and stadium atmosphere in addition to the 3 motivations they already cared about as a part of their ideal pitch. A successful sway gives you the ability to pitch 2 or more ideal pitches for a maximum influence gain. It also provides you with the opportunity for more closely align the prospect with your school's strengths. This is an incredibly powerful action. It can be used properly to separate you from the competition. So you look right here is Alabama recruiting. You can sway, do the cells, basically what we saw earlier. Stage 3 close. The final step in the recruiting journey is to close. This is when you bring the prospect in for an official visit and attempt a lasting prospect impression with them. In order to schedule a visit with a prospect, they must be down to their top 5 schools and you need to have them offered a scholarship. No recruit wants to take the time to visit somewhere that won't even give them a scholarship offer. That's a valid point. Sorry, I was trying to turn my AC on. I just hope it's not too loud. Chat, I had to turn the AC on because it's hot. If it's too loud, let me know and I'll turn it off. A recruit can only take an official visit to a school when they are on a bye week or they have a home game. Additionally, schools can only host up to 4 recruits in a single week. When scheduling a visit with a recruit, you will be charged 40 recruiting hours. The cost to schedule a visit does not count towards the week or towards the maximum number of hours you can allocate to the recruit in a week. This allows you to continue your normal recruiting of the prospect in the same week you schedule a visit. If a visit is broken down into 2 main parts: scheduling and activity. Timing is everything when it comes to scheduling a visit. Waiting to bring the recruit in for a big-time rivalry game late in the season could have a lot of upside, but also carries the risk since there's a chance the prospect will commit elsewhere. Is it really? Hold on. Let me just check it out for myself. How bad is it, chat?
Hold on.
No, it's not louder than me. It's not. You guys are just trolling with me. Get me to waste my time. Timing is everything when it... I already read that. My bad. Who you play, the date of the visit also matters. Each visit during the regular season comes with a set of game day stakes, which determine the influence bonus you will receive with the recruit for winning the game and the potential downside for the loss. The stakes are set by the importance for winning the games and potential downside for a loss. The stakes are set by the importance and visibility of the game the prospect will attend. Let's be honest, nobody wants to go to a game in a weak environment. Dang. Playing a lower tier opponent will provide very little upside and a major downside if you lose. Conversely, playing your rival, who is also a top 5 team, will also have the potential to leave a lasting impression. Of course, you can avoid any risk entirely by scheduling during a bye week, but then you get no game-related bonuses at all. Finally, the other prospects who are visiting that weekend can have a positive or negative impact based on whether or not their positions are complementary or competitive. For example, having a quarterback and left tackle visit at the same time will give them a complementary bonus, whereas scheduling 2 quarterbacks on the same day is considered a competitive visit and will negatively impact both of their visits. After setting which date the prospect is going to visit, the next step is to select what they are going to do on their visit. There are 14 activities a recruit can do during a visit, and each activity maps to a prospect motivation. Similar to pitches, their alignment of the recruit's interest level in that activity and your My School grade will determine how much the recruit enjoys the activity. Nailing the visit can often be the difference between bringing a top 5 class and being left at the altar on signing day. If things go well, there's a chance the recruit will verbally commit to your school the following week. While you should feel good about securing a verbal commit, it is critical you stay on top of things until they sign their letter of intent on signing day. If a prospect is verbally committed and they have a deal breaker, they will decommit from your school if you fall below the required grade threshold prior to signing day. Once a player has signed on signing day, you will have nothing to worry about until they arrive on campus, and the next challenge is keeping them happy and out of the transfer portal. Oh my god! Is that a UGF Pandas reference? Hold on. Is that a UGF Pandas reference right there? FCS Southeast with a panda logo? Oh, snap. WEA for that. Shout out Not the Expert, man. That's crazy. You look at week 12, FCS Southeast at Alabama. Shout out to the University of Georgia Fairburn Pandas. That's awesome. You can look at Iron Bowl week, to schedule your recruits and such. Oh, and you can even see if you got the player committed. That's a sick graphic right there. That's a sick graphic. I love that. Hey, coach, I'm sorry, but I decided to leave. All right, chat, here we go. Transfer portal information. Over the last 3 years, the transfer portal has completely reshaped college football and how you build your roster. While it can be used to quickly upgrade your roster, it can also gut your program if a massive player heads to the exits. Just like recruits, players on your roster can also have a deal breaker, and any recruit that has a deal breaker will keep their deal breaker when they join your roster. Remember, deal breakers can be thought of as a promise between you and the player. If you fail to uphold your end of the deal, there's a chance they leave in the offseason. The corresponding My School grade falling below the threshold is not guaranteed that they will decide to leave. The probability of a player transferring after their deal breaker has been violated and is driven by their overall, with higher overall players being more likely to transfer. Keep in mind that every action you take throughout the season has the potential to impact your My School grades and therefore increase a player's chance of leaving. A perfect example is the coaching carousel, where coach firings or coaches leaving for new jobs could immediately impact a team's coach prestige grade, resulting in players entering the transfer portal. In addition to players entering the transfer portal, high overall players may look to go pro and enter the draft if they've been in school for 3 or more years. Players who are entering the pro draft will display the round they are projected to be drafted in. Once a player has decided to leave, you will have an opportunity to persuade them to stay. The chance to successfully persuade a player to stay is determined by their overall and coach prestige. Higher overall players will be harder to convince than lower overall players. However, keep in mind that you only have a limited number of persuasion attempts. The number of persuasion attempts you have is determined by your coach prestige. The higher your coach prestige, the more your attempts will have. You can increase the number of persuasion attempts with the gift of gab ability. You can increase your chance of successfully persuading a player to stay with the roster retainer ability. Most of these abilities are available in the program builder archetype. After advancing the week, you will be able to see the pro draft results, which show where players were drafted. When creating pro draft results, they used real-world data, and pro draft tends to inform when players are drafted based on overall and position. So you can see if players are wanting to transfer or if they're going into the NFL draft. Your chance of persuasion and such. You can go look at their physical and mental traits from here. That's sick. That's really good. I think it is best if you play elsewhere. While players have the ability or the opportunity to leave via the transfer portal each season, you will also have the opportunity to make roster changes. Each offseason, you are required to get back down to 85 players on your roster. Unfortunately, that means if you are over the 85-man limit, you will be forced to encourage some players to transfer and find a new home. Even if you are at or below 85 players on the roster, you can still encourage players to transfer in order to make room for new players the next season. I like that. So you can encourage players to transfer. And no, you can't encourage the brand new freshman you just signed to a new home the moment he gets on campus. The transfer portal. As they said in the beginning, one of their goals was to make the transfer portal authentically unpredictable. This begins with players leaving. Some schools may face a mass exodus of players, while others may be left untouched. While all players have decided whether to stay or go, the transfer portal will officially open at the start of the offseason recruiting. Off-season recruiting lasts 4 weeks in total, and transfers will make their final decisions at the end of it on National Signing Day. Just like in real life, this is a chaotic 4 weeks where players are committing quickly and team rosters are rapidly changing. Teams will have to constantly make quick decisions, sometimes with limited information. Do you want to continue pursuing high school recruits? Are there transfers who can immediately improve your roster? How much time do you want to spend discovering a transfer's motivations and scouting them versus selling them on your program? How soon do you think you'll bring a transfer in for a visit? Every transfer is given a star rating based on their overall and has a national, state, and position ranking just like high school prospects. Since people change over time, transfers are assigned a new ideal pitch and motivation. Every player in the transfer portal has the same deal breaker that caused them to transfer originally. Their new ideal pitch will include their deal breaker motivation. It will be relevant to transfers and unique needs. After their ideal pitch and motivations have been set, transfers will evaluate each school and generate a top schools list, just like high school prospects do. They will look at how their motivations align with each school and adjust for pipelines and proximity to home. Since 4- and 5-star prospects are the highest demand, they know more concretely what they are looking for. They will only consider 5 schools. If you are not in their top 5, you will not be able to talk with them. Lower star rated prospects will vary in terms of the numbers of schools they are considering. Some will be completely open, while others will have as few as 3 schools they are considering. Regardless of where they start, the process of recruiting a transfer is fast and you will need to make quick decisions. Your interactions with a transfer will be similar to interacting with a high school recruit. Depending on their stage, you will add recruiting actions, pitch your school, and bring them to your campus on a visit and try to close the deal. I need to take another water break. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't while I take this water break. When evaluating whether to target transfers or high school prospects, schools will look at each position on their roster throughout the season and monitor immediate needs. If a position group does not meet their requirements, they will hold a spot on the recruiting board for an off-season transfer who they believe can come in and be an immediate contributor. Don't be surprised if you see teams finish early signing days with a light recruiting class in preparation for a big recruiting push in the transfer portal. Of course, once they see players who are actually in the portal, their priorities may change. Having a need at left tackle is nice all during the season, but if there's a 5-star transfer quarterback who wants to come to your school, why turn them down? This is nice. See Clemson players, Wisconsin. You can obviously see this is late into a dynasty because Wisconsin is ranked number 2, and Clemson's not ranked at all. Signing day, just like the real world, College Football 25 features both early signing day and national signing day. Good. Early signing day takes place at the start of bowl season at the regular season has been completed. National signing day takes place 7 weeks after the national championship. On signing day, any players who have verbally committed to a school prior to signing day will sign, meaning that they can no longer decommit. The majority of prospects will commit prior to early signing day, but some recruitments may last late into the cycle. Those prospects, along with transfers, will ultimately sign their letter of intent on National Signing Day. Throughout recruiting, you can view the team's recruiting rankings in the top classes tab at the top of the recruiting hub. Top classes allows you to view the team's recruiting rankings for the high school prospects, transfers, or combined. You can also filter the rankings by conference. Any rankings who are unsigned after National Signing Day will stick around and become walk-ons for the offseason. I'm sorry to break the news to you, Young Bike. It's 13 more days at the earliest. With that being said, the days of a player who was being actively recruited, not committing anywhere, and drifting off into the ether are over. No longer will you have to speculate and fantasize what happened to them. Did they fail to get into the school because of the grades? Did they have a change of heart and decide to try archery instead? Was it something you said? Now, the team with the highest influence on signing day will get the player as long as they've offered them a scholarship. This was a huge quality of life improvement that they all felt was a must-have. They are happy that they were able to deliver it. I love this graphic right here with the alternate logo of Oklahoma State, man. Scroggins, Carlisle, Studevant. You can look here, top classes. Texas with 7 5-stars is crazy. There's Florida, Miami, Oregon, Auburn, Georgia, Alabama. Notre Dame was number 1 in this dynasty snapshot. Oklahoma, Michigan. This looks really good, man. This is unbelievably really good looking. Position changes. Here we go for like athletes and stuff. Following signing day, you will have the opportunity to change player positions ahead of the off-season progression. This is especially important for any athletes you sign in recruiting, as they do not have an actual position. If you forget to set an athlete's position, they will be automatically assigned to their primary archetype's position when you advance the week. Players will be able to change to any other position regardless of their original position. The position change spreadsheet will show you their projected overall at the new position, which archetype they would become, which they would rank on the depth chart, the rank of players at the position. Once you confirm their new position, they will receive They'll receive a new set of physical abilities that are specific to that archetype. The physical abilities and tiers they receive are determined by their new attributes. Mental abilities will not change unless the mental abilities does not apply to their new position. Player progression. In college football, the offseason is the most impactful time period when it comes to player development. While players can improve throughout the season, the bulk of the progression and development happens during the spring and summer. Each season, we see players who put in the hashtag work during the offseason and come back bigger, stronger, and faster with an overall significantly better player. Player progression in Culture Bowl 25 is no different. All about the gains. In Dynasty, players will automatically progress their attributes and physical abilities. Mental abilities cannot be upgraded, allowing for more differentiation between players. Players will progress during the season based on their on-field performance, but the bulk of their progression will happen in the off-season. Off-season progression happens after the position changes stage so that the players will progress into their new positions. The amount of player progression in the off-season is influenced by their school year, your coach abilities, and their development traits. To simulate the real-world difference in a physical maturity between a freshman and a senior, younger players like rising sophomores will take larger leaps during the offseason than a rising senior. Similarly, a player's coaching staff will have a significant impact on their development. For example, motivators can have pay it forward ability, which allows bonus XP for a position group every time a player at that position is drafted in the first 3 rounds. Motivators can also have the put in work ability, which increases off-season development for players in a particular position group. Progression will then be further modified by the player's development traits. In Culture Bowl 25, there are 4 player development traits. Normal. These players are most common and progress at a standard rate. Expect them to steadily grow over their career. Impact. The type of player that can really change a team. They progress faster than normal, higher upside. A star. A potential Sunday player. There are very few of these to go around, and they'll establish themselves as early as fast learners. And then elite. The best of the best. These players will make a statement the moment they get on campus and have the potential to be an all-time great. Once a player is on your roster, their development trait is known and then can be seen on your player card, which then can be assessed by pressing triangle/Y on a player on the roster screen. When a player is a recruit, their development trait is hidden until National Signing Day, kind of like the NFL Draft in Madden. Unless you have the strategist archetype mind reader ability, which gives you the chance to learn their development trait when it comes in for an official visit. Skill groups. As opposed to progressing each attribute individually, for example, trucking players will instead progress an entire skill group. A skill group is a collective of related attributes. For example, the running back power skill group includes trucking, strength, stiff arm, toughness, jumping, and injury. Each skill group has a max level of 10. Each time you upgrade a skill level, it would increase 1 level and progress all the attributes in the skill group. With that being said, some players will have a skill group max level or cap that is less than 10. Skill group caps can be thought as a player's max potential in that particular area. That these will vary by player, skill group, and position and archetype. Once a skill group is at the cap, it can no longer be upgraded unless the coach has the architect archetype and the limitless or put a ring on it attributes or abilities. Limitless provides a chance to increase a random skill cap every time the player levels up, and put a ring on it will provide a chance to increase their highest skill cap after winning a national champion or conference or national championship. Look at Quinshon Judkins, former Ole Miss running back, now at Ohio State. Nice, nice. I gotta take another sip of water. My throat's hurting. Man, talking a lot, my throat's starting to hurt. Mental and physical abilities. As Scott described in the gameplay deep dive, players can have up to 5 physical abilities and 3 mental abilities. Yeah, we already know about that. While progressing, players will upgrade their physical abilities if they meet the rating requirements. Each tier of a physical ability has associated attribute requirement. For example, in order to have the Platinum Workhorse ability, a player must have 95 toughness. As said above, Dynasty players cannot upgrade their mental abilities. So if a player does not come in as a freshman with a particular mental ability, there's no way for them to earn that ability through progression. As you can see, physical abilities for Quinshon Judkins right here. Shifty, sidestep, takeoff, 360, recoup. You can look at health, mentals, ratings, overview, and more. Man, this looks good. Mental abilities, headstrong and fan favorite. Impact players. Impact players are back in a quick way for you to easily identify the key players on the other team. Every team will have at least one offensive and one defensive player who is an impact player. Unlike the past, there is no limit on the number of impact players a team can have. Explosive offenses when playmakers everywhere. Might have 5 or 6 impact players across the board, letting you know straight up that they got dudes they are about to cook. As you see here, a game between Georgia and Alabama at Alabama. And look at that beautiful field. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Look at the bottom of it. You can actually see scores around the league there, too. Uh-oh, I accidentally zoomed in too far. Yeah, look at that. Maryland 44, Indiana 34. Final score, Big Ten. And then the College Football 25 logo at the bottom left corner. You can actually see team records in your dynasty during the season. So both of these teams are 3-0. And you can also see other teams' final game scores at the bottom. That's great, EA. Thank you for doing that. Managing wear and tear. Here we go. With the introduction of the new wear and tear system, the week-to-week management of your players is more essential than ever before. As described in the gameplay deep dive, players can incur damage to body parts during the gameplay. The more damaged a body part is, the more it will impact their on-field performance. In addition to on-field gameplay, the players will also incur wear and tear damage during Super Sim. Each week, players will recover some of their wear and tear damage. The amount of recovery is dependent on how damaged the body part is. For example, let's say in the previous game, your running back severely damaged his right ankle and his left shoulder was only slightly damaged. The next week, you can expect his shoulder to be fully recovered and his ankle to be only slightly recovered. His ankle would then be something you would want to monitor in the next game. Yeah, this is long deep dive. We're getting closer and closer. We're about 2/3 of the way through. You could decide to sit him in an effort to allow him to get him back to full health the following week, or you could play him at the risk of increasing how long it takes him to fully recover in an effort to ensure that players are not disappearing in big-time games late in the season. We have set minimums that players will also recover when advancing the week. You can monitor the players' wear and tear All right, we're back. We're back. No worries. The internet is back up. Okay. As we were saying, with Donovan Edwards on the screen. My apologies, Chad. The internet loves to go out when I'm live streaming, and then when there's somebody else watching TV in the house, and I just can't turn their TV off. We already read that. Yeah, look at the screenshot. So you can look at the health. Like Donovan Edwards has a left shoulder, and right leg, and a left foot. Risk of injuries increased. So that's cool, though. Delivering the world of college football, one of the biggest challenges that they face in the development of the game was the task of recreating everything that makes the sport of college football so unique. Hold on, I need to take another sip of water. Unlike most professional sports where it is so much of the league is templatized, where uniformity helps drive a quest for parity, college football is a sport that marches to the beat of its own drum. It's a sport that thrives on chaos created by the lack of conformity. While that lack of conformity makes college football so special, it also makes the task of building the world of college football so much more challenging. So let's talk about those elements that help immerse you in your coaching journey and recruiting trail. A new day in college football. Here we go. A look at the 12-team playoffs. A lot has happened since they last made a college football game. Most notably, the entirety of the 14 playoff format has come and gone. But this year starts a new day for college football with the 12-team format, and you get to experience it first in College Bowl 25. So as we see here, the top number 1 seed, NC State, Ole Miss, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Michigan, Texas A&M, Miami, Utah, and Rice. So you will get home playoff games. So, for example, Rice at Oregon, Texas A&M at Michigan, NC. Well, no, that's the bowl game, and then you would get like Utah at Texas, Miami at Georgia, and then you have your New Year's Six bowl games. So you have Texas and NC State in the Peach Bowl, Texas Tech and Oregon in the Rose Bowl, Ohio State and Texas in the Fiesta Bowl, and then like Georgia and Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl. Then you go on to the Cotton Bowl, Ole Miss and Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and then Texas A&M and Oregon in the Orange Bowl, and in the national championship. And it says in Atlanta, Oregon and Ohio State, and then Oregon won that national championship right there, 42-20. That's nice. That's nice, man. I'm so excited for the 12-team playoff in this game. There are a lot of intricacies with how the college football playoff format that college football fans will need to get used to. During development, members of the team were able to participate in a mock selection committee session hosted by the College Football Playoff Committee to help better understand the process of how the committee determines the rankings. With the expansion to the new 12-team format, they were able to apply those learnings to project how the committee will value wins and losses in our world. We're going undefeated in a power conference is going to be less and less common, with the perception of schedule imbalance continues to widen. So yeah, if we look back here, Rice, the 12 seed, was 10-4. Utah, the 11 seed, was 10-4. But if you look at the number 1 seed, NC State was 12-2. What? 12-3. I hope it's not one of those where like every team has like 2 or 3 losses type of deal. We'll see. Let's see here. Well, the median coaches poll, here we go. Top 25 runs throughout the entire season. You will need to wait for the calendar to turn to November before you start to see the peak at the 12-team brackets is shaping up. That will be your first look at both the college football playoff top 25 as well as the playoff will be seeded based on these ranking/seeding rules. So if you look here, you can look at last week record, this week, stuff like that. That looks good. Ohio State, Alabama, USC. Ohio State being the only undefeated team so far on this top 25 right here in the college football playoff rankings. This looks nice. I love this, man. I love this. They created, I try to emphasize them. They created unique logic for college football playoff poll to model how they anticipate the rankings to look in the new format. Generating a believable opinion-based poll is no easy feat, especially where one they are projecting what may be happening versus being able to use real world results as their reference point. You are what your record says you are is a misnomer in college football. So factors like school and conference prestige can impact where a school finds itself in the college football playoff poll. So SEC bias seems to be in the game. Each week of the season, the coaches, media, and college football playoff polls, along with the 12-team bracket update based on the most recent results of the final rankings and brackets, are revealed following the completion of the conference championship games. Look at that. You've been invited to play in the college football playoff this week against Ohio State. That's nice. I love that, man. That looks really good. Once the rankings are set, now it's time to seed the bracket. As many people reading this already know, the 12-team format is a 5+7 model, meaning the 5 highest ranking conference champions will get an automatic berth into the playoffs, and the remaining 7 spots will be filled based on the order of final college football playoff rankings. The only way to get a first-round bye is to be one of the 4 highest-ranked conference champions. So an undefeated Notre Dame or any other independent, as well as the winner of the Pac-12, can be seeded no higher than 5th and will never be eligible to skip the playoffs first round. So if you want to do Notre Dame and you want to get a first-round bye, put them in a conference. The 5th automatic qualifier that did not get a first-round bye will be seeded based on where they rank in the final college football playoff poll. So if we look at this one, Virginia Tech, Ohio State, LSU, Notre Dame, Clemson, Boston College, Utah, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, USC, and Oregon. Okay. And then you get a look at what the poll will look like. Man, that looks really good. Man, I am so excited for this, man. One of the most exciting parts about the new 12-team playoff format will be the first round games will be played on campus. Hosting one of these games means you will have all your home field advantage on your side as you take on your opponent as you look to win in advance. The playoff quarterfinal and semifinal games will take place at bowl games formerly known as the New Year's Six Bowls, Orange, Sugar, Rose, Fiesta, Cotton, and Peach Bowls, which rotate annually each year of a dynasty just like they will in real life. College Football National Championship game has its own rotation of hosts, starting with Mercedes-Benz Superdome in Atlanta. The championship game will rotate through an additional 10 locations before looping back around as you continue deep into your dynasty. In addition to the College Football Playoff, they have also featured 34 bowl games, each using their real-world bowl tie-ins. So the RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl will annually feature teams from the Sun Belt and CUSA. The TransPerfect Music City Bowl will feature teams from the SEC and Big Ten, etc. So you can see there Duke's Mayo Bowl, Gator Bowl, Citrus Bowl, ReliaQuest, Alamo Bowl, the Pop-Tart Bowl, Camellia Bowl, Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Arizona Bowl. See all of these different bowl games right here. These look really good, man. You can even look at the side, see different stats about the two teams. That looks beautiful. You even see what date they're being played. Just like the college football playoff bracket, you will get your first look at the bowl projections the first week of November each season. Each week that you keep winning, you can see yourself climb in the polls, playing in a more prestigious bowl, all while trying to earn a berth in the college football playoff. The new era of college football is here, and by the time the 12-team playoff happens in real life, you will already be an expert on how the format works just by playing Dynasty mode. Meet your new neighbor. Here we go. Conference realignment, chat. Speaking of the dawn of a new era, the latest round of conference realignment has dramatically changed the landscape of college football, and just like the 12-team college football playoff format, you'll be able to experience the new reality first in college football 25. So you can look at that, the Big Ten. I really like this screen for the custom conferences page. It looks really good. Each conference is set with their 2024 alignment. The Sun Belt is the last conference to feature divisions, and the scheduling logic has been set for both the current season as well as the future year rotation based on each conference's rule set. The SEC will accurately follow the 8-game with one protected opponent rotation, while the Big Ten will utilize their 9-game flex protect model, and so on. If you need a refresher on who's where, if you are looking to follow along with the conference races, you can keep an eye on everything in the conference standings screen. Here, if you look at the Big 10 or the Big 12, you see Utah's the head of it. 12-1, Kansas State, BYU, Texas Tech. Rest of the teams kind of look bad. Colorado 7-5, sounds about right. Be your own conference commissioner. If you prefer to reset conferences to a previous configuration, push forward to a potential future, or just blow everything up and make whatever conference membership you want and adjust the rules to your liking, you have the power to be the czar of college football and set things how you like them with custom conferences. So like here with the Big Ten, put Florida State in the Big Ten. You can do that. You can reduce any conference to as few as 4 members and grow any conference to as large as 20 schools. In addition to moving schools into different conferences, you can have a school go independent for the ultimate in-schedule flexibility, but remember, it comes with the expense of a potential first-round bye in the college football playoff. You will also have the ability to edit each conference's rules, determining if they will/will not have divisions, what those divisions' names are, how many conference games will be played annually, if the conference will have a conference championship game, and the location of that championship game, either at a neutral site location or at the home stadium of the highest-ranked team. You'll be able to make adjustments in conference membership and rules when starting a dynasty, as well as at the end of each offseason, giving you a total of flexibility to change things however you want, both at the start of a dynasty as well as change the landscape of future based of your dynasty results to keep things fresh and interesting as you go deeper into your coaching career. Take another sip of water. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you haven't. It's greatly appreciated. We're at 481 people. We just hit 4,000 today. We're at 4,039 subs. Like I said, I'll make a video saying thank you for 4,000 after this. We're getting close to finishing the deep dive. I think I already read this. Yeah, moving conferences does not mean you are stuck with the old conferences. Jersey patch for the logo on the 25-yard lines. Those will dynamically update based on conference membership. Bada bing, bada boom. That is a great addition to the game. Like, look at that. An ACC logo for James Madison. Isn't that beautiful? And it's color-coded too? Wow. FCS Southeast beat Washington State in this dynasty. That's funny. You'd even see look at the conference. Oh my God. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. In online dynasty, only the commissioner can make the conference changes. Let's talk schedules. College football is unlike any sport in that so many of the weeks of the season mean something special to so many schools. It's not enough to make sure that the schedules rotate, that home and away status gets flipped for the new year. If it's the third Saturday in October, Tennessee better be playing Alabama. If it's Thanksgiving weekend, then the Iron Bowl, the big game, Florida State, Florida, and a host of other rivalry games better be on the table next to the turkey and stuffing. Dynasty Mode scheduling system will make sure those special games get filled in the correct weeks before adding in the rest of the conference and non-conference slate to get each school ready for their 12 games. So as you can see here, you can look at your schedules and stuff. There's an out-of-conference. There's some conference games, your bye weeks, Florida State game. This looks great. For the non-conference games, they've included as many real-world games as were announced by the time they had to lock schedules. So when you get to the 2027 and 2028, the Florida State Georgia home and home series will already be scheduled. In 2029 and 2030, Notre Dame and Alabama home and home will be scheduled, etc. Their schedule generator will be used to fill out everyone's schedule to make sure that every school has 12 games for all 30 years of a dynasty. Kickoff games like the Duke's Mayo Classic and the Vegas Classic here as well, and will be scheduled in future years of Dynasty Mode. Another recent addition to the world of college football playoff is the concept of Week 0. While the season still kicks off on Labor Day weekend for the majority of schools, some get things started in the week prior in what has been affectionately termed Week 0. The authentic Week 0 games are scheduled for year 1 of a dynasty, and in your future years, Week 0 will get utilized. However, the bulk of the schools will be put toe to leather for the first time in the traditional Labor Day week window. You can see your team's entire schedule on the team schedule screen, or look at the schedule around the country week by week from scores/schedules. Each week, the broadcast type will be determined based on what is the biggest game on that week's slate. If your game is either a national or streaming broadcast, it will be called by the team of Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, David Pollock. Or if the game is the game of the week, it will be called by Chris Fowler or Kirk Herbstreit. So you can see games like this. The crowd themes that their friends and presentation talked about recently also appeared in Dynasty. If your school does a whiteout, blackout, checkerboard, striping, etc., you'll see those crowd themes in the first home game of the season for rivalry games, and if you are named as the game of the week. That's a good addition to know, Chad. Set your schedule. In addition to custom conferences, you can also customize your non-conference schedule via custom conferences or schedules each preseason. Conference games are designated with a lock icon and cannot be edited, but your non-conference games do not have a lock signifying that they are fair game to edit. So if you look over here, like for instance, you could take off the Tulsa game, choose a different team, choose if you're playing at Tulsa or at home, or choose if you want to play an FCS team, stuff like that. I love that. Select any week that features a non-conference opponent or any bye week to be able to select a different team to play in that week. You can only have a max of 12 games, so you need to remove a game before trying to add a new one. When you select a week, you will see all of the available opponents that you can choose from. Some schools will not be available if they're already locked into a conference game in that week, so you will have to find more luck finding a larger set of available teams earlier in the season before most schools have started conference play. Man, that looks great. This looks so good, man. I can't wait to play this freaking game. There's an FCS Northwest. Looks like a shark. You can schedule Bedlam, obviously. Keep Bedlam going on. The Oklahoma is in the SEC. You can also change if the non-conference game is a home or away game by simply toggling the home-away status in the schedule screen. To avoid mass confusion of multiple people trying to edit schedules at the same time, the commissioner in an online dynasty is responsible for making all conference or custom schedule changes. So yeah, I will be head of that for the PS5 dynasties. You can join that by joining the Discord, link in the description below. There's going to be like 4 or 5 dynasties, dude. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. But the Patreon dynasty is what we're going to be making videos out of, and we'll stream the other dynasties every now and again. Here we go, Team Builder. Team Builder is back. You can import up to 16 Team Builder teams in a private online dynasty. The commissioner will need to replace existing FBS schools with the Team Builder teams they want to add when setting up the dynasty. That was kind of expected. Including Team Builder schools is only available at the creation of the league. They can only be used in private online dynasties. Yeah, I saw somebody earlier saying that you couldn't use it in offline dynasties, which, I mean, if you don't have internet to play online dynasties, then you wouldn't be able to get Team Builder teams in general. But if you just want to do a dynasty with just Team Builder and just you, just do a private online dynasty and not invite anyone and do just you. Don't overthink it. It's nothing to overthink. It's easy to get around, okay? To burn a shirt or to not burn a shirt. The changes in the world of college football have not been limited to off the field. Handling red shirts have also seen a recent overhaul. And to keep in line with the real world, they have implemented the ability to play in up to 4 games in a season and still be eligible to take a red shirt. Each preseason, you'll have the option of selecting which players you are for sure want to redshirt. And during the course of the season, you can monitor how many games each player has played in order to make the determination on if you want to keep playing the player or have him sit the remainder of the year in order to preserve his redshirt status. Yes, you can create uniforms when you do make Team Builder. Those 4 games can be played at any point in the season. So you get a freshman some game reps early in the season, then hold them out until end of the season. You bring them out back in for a playoff run if wear and tear has run your roster down. You need a fresh body when the season matters most. Man, my throat hurts, but we're almost done. Once a player has played in the 5th game of the season, they are no longer eligible for a redshirt that year, but will be eligible for a redshirt the following year. If micromanaging redshirts is not your liking, no worries at all. Anyone who is eligible for a red shirt at the end of the season will have it automatically applied. Handling some hardware. College football loves to celebrate accomplishments, whether it's reclaiming an 100-year-old water jug from a rival like the annual Michigan-Minnesota game, a coach hoisting up the SEC championship trophy in Atlanta in early December, or the most outstanding player in college football striking the iconic pose just 1 week later. College football and awards are synonymous. Rivalry trophies will be on the line, and the winner of each contest takes home the trophy and bragging rights for the year. Conference, bowl, and national titles will contribute both to your coach's pedigree, but also the school's program tradition grade. When it comes to individual awards, the conversation has to start with the most storied trophy of them all, the Heisman Memorial Trophy, which is awarded annually to the most outstanding player in college football. Each week of the season keeps tabs on the Heisman Watch to see who is in the Heisman running for the prestigious award. As the Heisman race heats up, as we get to the award being announced heading into the first bowl week. So if we see, for instance, Carson Beck, Travis Hunter, Quinshon Judkins, Shedeur Sanders, and the recently arrested Ollie Gordon II. Man, my throat hurts. Hey, and Dylan Gabriel won the Heisman here. Almost 4,000 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's nice. In addition to the Heisman, they have other individual position awards like the Lou Groza, Lombardi, and Unitas Golden Arm Award, among others. They also have the Broyles Award for the best coordinator in the country to go along with the Head Coach of the Year award. I love that. Preseason and postseason All-American teams are named annually as well. And the preseason, both first and second team All-American teams are named at the national and conference level. The postseason All-American teams feature the first, second, and freshman teams at the national and conference level too. I'll let you guys get a look at that real quick. You will be able to follow the nominees and finalists for the awards in the College Football Playoff tab at the Dynasty Hub. The All-American teams are announced at the preseason as well as the first week of bowl season, and the other awards are handed out. In addition to annual awards, Players of the Week on offense and defense are determined both at the national and conference level. Records are made to be broken. No career mode would be complete without the tracking of player stats in the record book. Season stats track individual player stats for the current season, while team stats track a number of categories at the team level for the current season. Career stats track individual player stats for the entirety of their collegiate career. Coach stats track the lifetime accomplishments of coaches and also serves as a way to look at each coach's current job security status, so that way you can get an early look at what jobs may become available on the coaching carousel. The record book covers players' records on the career, season, and game level. Each stat category and every record is tracked at the national, conference, and team level. College Football 25 is the first time they've tracked records to a conference level, giving you one more set of milestones to try and break at a career during a career. I love that. Yeah, pride stickers. Here we go. This is what a lot of people have been wanting to see. For certain schools like Ohio State and Florida State, the pride stickers that are applied to an individual player's helmet over the course of a season are as iconic as any other tradition in college football. Each season, the helmet starts fresh, and over the course of the season, based on each player's performance, pride stickers are added to give a visual representation of that player's accomplishments. There's DJ Uiagalelei. You can see over the course of the season, his pride stickers dramatically increase on his helmet. They worked with each school to understand the fill pattern to make sure as the stickers are being applied over the course of a season, they are being added in the correct pattern based on how the school does it in real life. As you can see, the Ohio State one, which is my favorite. So what else? No Dynasty deep dive is complete without going through some of the utility features. Both online and offline Dynasty can go up to 30 seasons. Up to 30 users can participate in on a Dynasty online or offline. Only one user per school. The commissioner is in charge of determining the settings of the Dynasty. The roster file that is used at the league creation handles all custom conferences and custom schedule changes and is responsible for advancing the Dynasty to next week / off-season stage. No pressure. You can keep track of everyone's status in the member screen. Commissioner status can be transferred from member screen as well. Commissioners will also have the ability to force a win in the event that a game was not able to be completed. And for those of you who like to restart a game versus the CPU that isn't going your way, the number of times a game was started will be tracked in the score schedules game for all to see. Good. Post-game speech. Congratulations if you made it this far in the blog. Standing in at nearly 17,000 words and 85 pages, this blog is a representation of how passionate this team is about making the game. The level of dedication, commitment, and passion is what takes this team special, or makes the team special, and both of us proud to be a part of it. The entire team has a do whatever it takes mentality because we know how important this game and how more specifically Dynasty mode is to you, the community. Like we said at the top, at the end of the day, everything is centered around the goal. Satisfy the core community because this is their game. Their team embraced this and tried their best to embody it each and every day. They said it's been an incredible journey and could be more excited to finally experience it. Thank you for the entire team, for the community of your passion and excitement with the support of this game. With that being said, see you soon for the Road to Glory deep dive. Chad Walker and Ben Howmiller of the entire college football 25 development team. Man, oh man. This game looks beautiful. I have been speaking for 2.5 hours and my throat hurts. So I'm going to head out, do a little bit more research on my own, make a thank you video for hitting 4,000 subs. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you also hit the notifications bell because I promise you won't regret it. And I guess I'll see you guys later for the Road to Glory deep dive. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have all had a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys later.